shocked by the sound of violence.
According to the plaintiffs in its pleadings, the bout class contains all persons who competed in one or more live professional UFC promoted MMA bouts taking place on broadcast in the United States from December 16, 2010 to January 30th, 2017. The bout class excludes all persons who are not residents or citizens of the United States unless the UFC paid such persons for competing in a bout fought in the United States. What that means is that a lot of the individuals that have been a part of the UFC just for even one fight during this time period could claim a portion of this particular loss.
All right, everybody. What up? What up? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast. Let's you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week. I am Pulver, and I'm here yet again with my co-host, Chris Daffer, on a very, very hectic intro that you guys will never see behind the scenes. But, oh boy, was this a hectic one. How's it going, buddy?
I promise you I am not that high. Despite my best effort to be.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I might be that high because I am that guy. But I will say, if you guys hear snoring in the background, that's not your imagination, and it's not just because we're that boring. Chris's new pup, who actually Chris can probably show on camera if he really wants to, who is goddamn... Actually, wait, I can show it on camera because she's fucking adorable. Her name is Rain, who is sleeping right behind Chris's computer, as you can see. She is joining us in the background, so if you hear some snoring, that would be that cute-ass pup. But also, we arguably possibly fixed Chris's audio setup finally for the first time this week.
Yeah, I was under the impression that this was an omnilateral
Chris over here using the mic like it's omnidirectional. And I'm like, yo, send me a picture of what it looks like right now. And I'm like, I found out all of our audio problems.
And that's the issue, because I remember before when I actually had the the legs on the mic, when it wasn't broken, it was mostly better, originally.
It wasn't worse.
Yeah, it's just stupid fucking ignorance. I think I described it to you like this was a scene out of Idiocracy where you're trying to explain something so basic and then I just react in a way I don't know how to describe it.
Well, I just couldn't figure out why the dog was so much louder than Chris, and then I figured out he had the mic pointed at the dog, not him. So that's how that went today. We are here for yet another Sound of Violence podcast. Normally, we are an MMA podcast, talks about the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week. We are actually going to do that as well at some point. But it is also the holidays. It's 2020. Shit has been super fucked. And so, I don't know, it's going to be a little bit of an all-over-the-place episode, I feel like. And if you didn't expect that going in, have you met us? I guess we should start off, Chris. Despite all of the chaos, still we are going to go with our Papa Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents our super real, totally not fake or made up sponsors. Do you have anything you're repping this week?
I do, but first off, I have to make a great Mitch Hedberg reference in that I started doing a podcast because I'm really good at holding ice cream cones. Clearly, as I'm holding my mic right now.
Oh, if people could see that you're holding your mic, that joke would have read so much better, bro.
Yeah, like see the mic right here?
There
like,
you go.
This mic.
Actually, hold it right there because the audio got way better when you did that.
But anyways, back to the unofficial sponsor, of course. I've never had this brewery's beer. I've always wanted to try it. This is
a new one.
Kensington Brewing Company.
Oh shit, Washington, canning. Right?
What's up?
Out of Washington, right?
No, here in Kensington, San Diego, the neighborhood Kensington.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah,
I think there's a Kensington brewery in Washington also.
Yeah, this one's here in San Diego, it's right next to Ponce's Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Right off the 805.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got this at Jimbo's in Claremont, and the guy at the cashier told me that he said Kensington started canning for them, or they're like one of the few liquor stores that actually gets their cans, because I guess it's more or less you have to go to the brewery itself.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I know the name, but I haven't seen them around in cans. Definitely.
Oh, Rain, you just do a really impressive sleepy stretch, did you?
Hey, that's good news for everybody listening. Because that means
it's actually really good news
because no
when she snores, it's muted by the comforter on my bed because now her face is buried. So, a little bit better news. Anyways, this is what the beer looks like. It's a black IPA. I'm not.
Oh shit! I haven't seen a black IPA around in a while.
It's very I guess rye tasting.
Yeah, I can see that. Black IPAs are so weird. They're it's so bitter.
It's just very, very, very bitter and dry. It's good though. It's a good beer, but I could definitely see anyone who just doesn't drink beer, generally, they'll fucking hate this beer.
Yeah, in general, black IPAs are very much I can see what you mean by rye, because they're very spicy bitter in the fact that they're mostly dark chocolatey and strong hoppy notes. So it's a very acquired taste.
I can't say the name of the brewery, but at New English we made a beer for a brewery. It's a black IPA with coconut, and it's really fucking good.
Is that the one I might have heard rumors about?
Yeah, and yeah. I just can't say the name on air, technically, so.
For sure. All I will say is, if you guys are San Diego beer fans, you will probably hear about it, because there is enough congruent brands around that motherfucker, or at least brand themes around that motherfucker to keep it going. But then again, you can say that about almost every beer release here in San Diego nowadays. So
yeah, every new beer release in San Diego is sort of almost like an event.
I mean, especially nowadays, there's a lot of tie-ins with restaurants.
It's also
which I've been digging.
Especially when Stone does something what the fuck did they put in their beer now, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, everything, every time it's what weird Asian spice did they find in the Orient?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I feel I normally wouldn't use the phrase the Orient, but I feel that's where, those are the kinds of spices Stone keeps going for recently with all their yuzu shit, so, I don't know. It's a weird vibe for sure. Anyway, I guess we should move on and actually get into format. I am drinking this week the Black is Beautiful beer from North Park Brewing Company. This is the same one I've actually had in the fridge since I got the last 4-pack that I had. I just wanted to kind of end the year, especially the last UFC card of the year, with Black is Beautiful. I felt like that was the most appropriate way to end 2020 beer-wise. And honestly, North Park Brewing Company, probably my brewery I came up on in 2020 the most, that I'm the biggest fan of.
I agree.
They're incredible.
North Park Beer Company is definitely probably my favorite brewery of the year.
I fuck up their name every time. Thank you for correcting me.
I didn't want to be an asshole and be actually...
I appreciate it, because I always get it wrong.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, everyone in San Diego likes to do the slight adjustment on the brewery like beer company combo. Like everyone has a slight where they like get real mad if you don't do whatever version they like.
My favorite is when I'd get someone who's never been to New English. I swear to God, this happened probably like 5 times. Oh, now you're waking up and pushing my laptop. Thank you, Ray.
I was gonna say, yo, I appreciate the camera adjustment from the pup. That's actually a better angle.
Oh, and guess where she just put her face? Right where the mic was originally. So
Okay,
that's good
beautiful.
news. Okay. Anyways, we've gotten people come to the brewery and they're like, yeah, wow. Didn't expect the brewery to look like this, considering Old English is really famous, right? I'm just like, oh no.
I
Here we
mean,
go.
kind of.
Yeah. It's
Old
like,
English is pretty famous.
oh
but,
no,
like,
yeah, and I have to go. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. This is a Wendy's, and then I have to remind them that they're not at Old English, and that we don't serve malt liquor. That's always my favorite.
Oh, does that actually happen?
I swear to God, I swear to you, someone thought we were Old English, the malt liquor company.
Oh, I thought the Old English jokes were puns because you guys have been around for a long time. Because New English has actually been around for a while.
Someone legitimately thought we were Old English, as in the 40s that you can buy.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Well, how excited were they when they found out they could buy Imperial Stouts in 36-ounce cans instead?
Well, we don't have it in the serving.
I was
option,
gonna say, you guys.
that sounds dangerous. I'm sure someone does it, at least in a crowd.
I think it's Mission
Actually,
Brewery, right?
What's up?
Oh, Mission Brewery has 32-ounce cans.
That's if they're double, their shipwreck IPA.
Yeah. I think they might have done an Imperial Stout in that too.
No
That's
one's
the dumbest can format because it just gets so warm by the time you get like halfway through. It's fucking stupid.
Stouts are not good for just big anything. Unless
Stout-
it's like a barrel aged in like a 22-ounce.
Stouts are at
bomber.
least a little bit more forgivable because they're not as bad warm. Like IPAs are the worst.
True.
Any kind of big format IPA is like, oh, bro, cool. So you want me to drink fucking warm hops for half of this? Tight, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever drink Arrogant Bastard warm? It's not.
Oh, 100%. It's the worst. It's absolutely. It's not even close to.
I always remember one time.
It's bad.
I went to a Padres game with Blake, maybe like 8. I think it was like 8 years ago, something like that.
Wait,
but
didn't I have Arrogant Bastard warm at? Didn't I had Double Bastard warm at the fucking RIP to the goddamn meat event that your dad used to do, the man meat event.
So yeah, that wasn't his event. It's a friend of his.
No, but the event he used to like go to, yeah.
Either way, I remember it was before a Padres game. We had parked at.
Also, I
Fashion
like how I
Valley.
just phrased it as the man meat event. We're just gonna move on. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, right. Like what event? What? Remember, we parked like at the trolley station at Fashion Valley Mall, and Blake's like, "Dude, we still have this Arrogant Bastard," and I think it might have been Double Bastard.
I've been there a couple
He's like,
times.
"Dude, we
yeah.
gotta chug him." And then I remember as I was chugging it, he says in like a Scottish accent, "Hey boy, drink your blue." I just fucking it's like projectile spit and laughter all over my fucking like dashboard of my car.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And Blake's just like just can't stop laughing. I'm like, dude, and then I have like a huge stomach ache. I'm like, dude, fuck you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That sounds about right for a Blake story. You guys, I don't know if we've ever actually had Blake on.
no, he's definitely not a
mu-
casual fan because he knows like most of
Do
like
we
who the
never get him
champion-
on a commentary or anything?
I don't think so. I have to convince him. But I
should,
think
though,
he would
yeah.
have some fun with some of the movies.
He's hilarious.
And did I tell you how jealous Kyle was when I told him we watched Jiu-Jitsu high as fuck? He's like, dude, that movie looked cool. I'm like, oh.
Hey, we can watch it again with him. I'm willing to watch it again.
He
I've already
actually
seen
told
it
me,
again.
like, dude, I'll rent it.
I watched it again with girlfriend Karen, and she got so angry halfway through that she just made me turn it off. Actually, it was at the same scene that we use in our intro clip. When Nick Cage is jujitsuing people without jujitsuing people for the first time, she's like,
I
I'm
just
fucking
remember
done,
before
bro."
everything went hazy and sleepy. I just remember the Elaine Moosey. It's like his best Universal Soldier Jean-Claude Van Damme impression of whatever he's doing, sitting down, flexing.
Yeah.
And then I just remember Nicolas Cage doing a face-off, I'm crazy kind of thing. I'm like, okay, here we are.
Well, I can't think of a better segue, Chris, to bring us into this week's list of MMA podcast than, well, here we are. I feel like it was a pretty lackluster week overall. I mean, I kind of expected it after there's a big pay-per-view event. It's almost always kind of like this, right? Like, it always kind of feels like
Yeah, there's always
pay-per-view,
definitely a drop off.
especially when it's like the worst drop-offs is when there's no UFC card, and then it's just like whoever's covering Bellator or One or whatever European promotion is putting on stuff. But in this week, it's actually this card's actually pretty good this weekend. Fingers crossed. We're recording this Friday night, so I'm sure I just cursed 3 of the main card fights. But all things considered, I expected a little bit more output, especially after a giant event last week. And like, while there was a lot of good episodes, I feel like it was kind of slept on as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I told you off air before we started recording. As far as we haven't gotten to skips at all, but I'll just kind of get it off my chest right now. Anything that mentioned the douchebag YouTuber was a no-go.
Oh yeah, we don't say his name out loud.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it.
No.
Yeah, because
We don't
clearly
say
he listens to
either
this
of their names,
podcast.
yeah. No, they're yeah. I keep wanting to call them the fuck boys, but I'm trying to avoid using that phrase nowadays in 2020 because I feel like that phrase is going to age poorly. But y'all know what I mean. The attention-seeking whores who have recently been involved in boxing. Yeah, it's awful. I will go ahead and add Brendan Schaub to part of that problem, clearly, with the most staged fucking garbage of all time. That's so embarrassing, dude.
YouTube? For sure.
Although, you know what, we should give a huge shout out because you and I talk about this a lot off air. I don't think we've talked about it on air, how good the Fighter and the Kid Reddit subreddit is, as well as the what's the other subreddit that's super fucking good? That's like Fighter and the Kid related.
Fuck.
There's another one. Anyway,
I couldn't tell you, but I know you had sent me some really funny memes.
It's rough, man. They are the hardest on those motherfuckers in the funniest way, and
it definitely carries over to our MMA as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's where a lot
mostly in the comments
as well. Yeah,
especially with something about Eskimo Brothers, and then someone said, Escargot Brothers for sure, like just dumb shit like that. It's like, yeah, he probably would say something like that.
Well, I just enjoy how every single post on oh god, you know what? Gio was the one who told me about how bad the god damn it, it's TFATK, and then there's another page that's super bad as well. But it essentially the entire community turned against him, and so now when you go and look at it, it's just everyone's talking like Brendan Schaub sounds, like Chris, the mean shit Chris does on every episode when he mentions Brendan Schaub, the what you talking about B shit.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, everybody's doing that shit on the actual TFATK subreddit, and it's worth looking at because it's they're pulling clips in real ass ways. I know Borrachino Depot is like the go-to resource on Twitter for Tito and Brendan Schaub shit, but I'm telling you guys that TFATK subreddit is fucking insane lately.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh so hard at the dog. Her nose is going crazy and her like eyes are twitching.
That's gonna be good for audio sounds here in a bit, I'm sure. Well, on that note, I guess before we get to our actual format, Chris, I do have a couple mentions for news this week. First off, I sent you this text. I don't know if you saw it. You know, Cage Warriors is coming to San Diego.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, the UK promotion, which I've been a huge fan of forever. I mean, they've been on Fight Pass for God knows how long. I mean, they've been around. They're, I don't know, almost 200. I think they actually just recently had 200 events, if I remember right.
I forgot. Correct me on this because I can't think of the name. Who is the more famous fighter out of that? That's not obviously McGregor.
I mean, there's a billion of them.
I know there's a bunch, but like if you had to pick, I fucking keep forgetting, dude.
I don't know that there's like one that would stand out to me. I mean, it's all the big British standouts, like everybody, or British or Irish standouts. No, Brad Pickett, I want to say might have been Cage Rage. He might have had a Cage Warriors fight. He might have been prior. Here, let me look at it.
I probably think Scottish guys too, maybe like Paul Craig or like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I mean, the go-to people you would think of is like the Meatball Molly McCanns, Why am I thinking of all this dope
Mark
British
Diacasey?
wrestler? Yes, Mark Diacasey, Nathaniel Wood,
Hot Chocolate Roberts, Danny Roberts.
I believe Daniel Roberts. Yeah, I believe the two dudes who just went and had the Cage Warriors fight when the UFC shut down during the pandemic. They were both former Cage Warriors fighters, if I remember. Like, Cage Warriors put out a ton of talent. I'm doing it a disservice by just like naming random people off the top of my head. I mean, a ton, pretty much all the Irish prospects came out of Cage Warriors, if I remember right. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the Patty Houlihan's and everybody came out of there.
Joe
as well.
Duffy, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not mixing up UK promotions or non-UK promotions as the Irish promotions are. It's such a... I fucking hate politics.
Unless, like, you want to be an asshole with semantics and just say Northern Ireland if you want to keep
that's
it.
That's the thing. Well, no, if you're going to say UK, you're implying Northern Ireland, I believe.
I know, that's my joke, though.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys already fought it out. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean.
You know, the city's called Derry, not fucking Londonderry.
Anyway, we'll go ahead and keep on moving on. Since I'm definitely adding to this conversation, not just dragging it through the fucking mud. Let's see. The UFC, I noticed on Fight Pass, has not added a new UFC Unfiltered onto Fight Pass, the video version, in 2 weeks. I don't know what that means. I just happened to notice that this week, and I thought it was weird and I should mention it. Ceremonial Weigh-In podcast is back, which is Angie Hill's show. And then this week, there is a ton of cards, Chris. I don't know if you know all what's going on. KSW has a card with Phil the Freeze on it. Gory 76 has Cedric Doumbé, the GOAT, as French Phil would say on the fight site. Also, Badr Hari's on that card. Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds has the flyweight tournament, I guess is what they're referring to it as, with Pearl Gonzalez, Liz Tracy, Gabby Romero, Karina Dam, a bunch of others. Submission Underground 9 has Mason Fowler versus Ishii. It has Felicia Spencer on it, Cerrone, RDA, Brent Primus versus Craig Jones,
nice.
Chris Sunshine, Danny Prokopos. Like, actually, if that Shug 9 card actually goes off like it's supposed to, that shit is pretty fire grappling. So I might actually check that out on Sunday. But yeah, it's actually, for as quiet as it's been in MMA podcasting, it's a great fucking week of events.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fantastic weekend lineup in general. I guess other MMA news, that's pretty obvious. Yoel Romero is signed with Bellator, I believe officially now. They welcomed him. And I think they're going to have him fight fucking Anthony Johnson right off the bat. Is that the rumor? Because that's pretty badass.
That's the rumor until they go into negotiations. Which is going to immediately halt all that shit. Also, I think the biggest news of the week is that Kadyrov got sanctioned by the U.S. government.
I saw that. I think you believe you.
Oh,
you
yeah.
sent me
I went on
fire.
fire.
It was a tweet from Kareem Zidane.
Yeah,
tweeted
Kareem
or
Zidane,
shared.
yeah. Yeah, and I also was on fire on Twitter this week talking about it, about how motherfuckers are...
I remember now what it was. You tweeted out, like, BJPenton.com, what are you doing celebrating Ali Abdelaziz saying he wants to challenge, who is it, Tony Ferguson?
Yeah,
to
in a
submission
fucking
underground?
submission grappling match, the same day Kadyrov, his business partner, is getting sanctioned by the fucking... basically by the entire U.S. government for being a war criminal. They're tweeting out that bullshit. And BJPenn.com, I mean, shouts out to them for being notoriously the biggest thieves in the industry prior to their reformation later in their, like, kind of outset. And then after that, now, they just put out fucking garbage interviews for clickbait bullshit. Like, shouts to Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor's always been nice to me on Twitter and on the UG back in the day and shit, but it's still fucking embarrassing that, like, that's a major outlet in the sport. And, like, that's the kind of...
stupid.
Dude, they're literally just actively choosing to do PR for Ali, is what that is. You're actively
did
choosing
Ali
to
manage
do Ali.
BJ Penn?
No.
No, right? It's
No.
just a shitty coverage.
No, well, what it is Ali has the most fighters in the sport. So if you want to access Ali's fighters, you have to write positive stories about Ali. Shouts out to Ariel Helwani. That's how he has his entire gig. That's why Ariel Helwani hasn't had all these fighters on his show in a while, because Ariel eventually started feeling bad about all the gay people dying at the hands of Ali's buddy. I would assume, I hope that's why Ariel stopped talking to him. Fucking, it's embarrassing. This whole industry is embarrassing. And you all should feel bad about it, because you're all responsible.
No, it's a fucking travesty, and it's embarrassing to...
Well, it's embarrassing that we have to be the people talking about this shit. Like the fuck are we doing?
Why do you think I tell you?
It's embarrassing.
In as far as just journalism coverage of any sport in general, the MMA coverage is just far and away resoundingly embarrassing, and it's sad that you have to really kind of look for actual good MMA coverage of mixed martial arts.
Well, and
like,
how about
we
the
know
fact
are
that
obvious good journalists out there, but it's just too much of a common occurrence that it's just there's no real integrity involved.
Well, and the real problem is the widest and clearest, like, everyone recognizes Kareem Zidane is the best journalist in the sport.
100%.
Like, investigator or not, he's doing the hardest hitting journalism. He's literally changing laws with the kind of investigative journalism he's doing. He's changing the sport day to day. He's keeping racists out of the UFC actively. He's doing that type of fucking journalism, and no one... Like, he'll occasionally get a nomination, which he can't actually go to the fucking event because people are at the event are telling him, like, you might not want to show up because, there's people that don't like you.
It's like, and then he's saying,
and then he
well,
just doesn't get
mentioned,
and he barely gets mentioned in Journalist of the Year awards. Where meanwhile, the dude who got paid by ESPN or by Fox, I'm sorry, let me be very specific, is getting Journalist of the Year every year. The fuck are we doing as an industry? It's embarrassing. Everyone should feel bad. Like, I'm the first to say, like, MMA media gets a bad rap on a lot of shit. Because people don't understand the role of media. Like, Bloody Elbow is the best example. Bloody Elbow gets a ton of shit for doing real journalism.
Yeah, shouts out to Trent Ryan Smith and many others.
Many others, yeah. Almost everyone there. I mean, everybody from John Nash to Mookie and Steffi.
Zane Simon.
Yeah, Zane Simon. They all do just quality ass work. And then the biggest fucking news just gets fucking, Ariel Helwani every year, bro. It's just the best because Dana White makes the award shows. I don't know. I fucking hate this industry for a lot of reasons. But that's not why we're here. We're here to reward good people in the industry for doing good work. And that's what the fuck this show is about, Chris. Now that I've shit on everyone and everything for 30 minutes, as is our custom, we're going to go ahead and get into the MMA podcast we recommend people catch this week, which actually, surprisingly, even though we've said all this shit about how a lot of the industry gave up this week and how a lot of it was trash, there's actually a decent amount of good, like, really good podcasts that still came out.
God damn it.
Oh, is your first one not a good one?
Nope. Okay, no, false alarm. So, I was just adjusting the microphone right now, and the dog had her face on the cord. So when I barely moved it, she gave me a "Are you fucking serious?" look, and I just readjusted herself again. It's actually kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
Oh, okay. Make more. You good? Let's just push my lap.
It's cool. You're still in frame. You know what? Let her do the fucking camera work for us. You
this
just keep
is
talking.
Amazing. Look at that. She just shifted the entire camera.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, fuck you.
Dude,
fuck your podcast.
My point is keep talking and let her do unless you're off screen, keep talking.
And then now it's time to lick your itch. Go have the floor rain.
I don't know if you guys can tell. Chris and I are 100% in holiday mode, and we've been drinking.
It's all good, Rain. I mean, you were sleeping on your dog bed earlier, and you decided to jump on the bed right as it was going to start. But,
I mean, to be fair, maybe I'll clean up the audio version of this, a little bit more than the video version.
And it's fun. I'm just going to keep the camera crooked because it's hilarious. Anyways,
I forgot where we were at. Well, your catch for this week. Yes.
Well, I only have a handful of stuff here. I will just start with...
What stood out to you?
stood out to me for sure was Mookie and Crookie.
Dude, that's actually my number one catch for this week. Is the first one I had was Mookie and Crookie, episode 100. By the way, congrats to Mookie and Crookie on episode 100.
Yeah, congrats to them. Always a solid podcast.
It was really good. And also, anytime John Nash is on, sign me the fuck up, bro.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. They talk about Figueiredo. Probably should have gotten the W, but a draw is good because there needs to be a rematch regardless. I agree.
Hopefully. But then again, JJ theoretically isn't getting the Zhang rematch either. Or sorry, Rose.
Oh, yeah, and I saw something where Rose was very much like saying, no, I would like to fight her, and then they're like, no. Dana's like, no, you don't. You clearly don't want to fight her. We're just going to give Carla Esparza the title shot? I was like, what?
Well, you know what that is. Carla Esparza doesn't demand money.
Well, Carla Esparza,
because the UFC is the goddamn
best
Kobe swap meet of MMA.
Yeah. Anyways, they first started by saying, how about that Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier commentary? My goodness, was that dog shit. So when I watched the fight, I had the volume on loud. I was so laser focused on what was going on in the fight. I think it kind of fell on deaf ears. I honestly wasn't.
That's good because it was brutal, man. It's the same thing as always.
Was it underdog mode?
Yeah. Well, no, it's just singular focus mode where like Joe Rogan picks up on pick a fight. You could pick any fight. It's a different thing that he picks up on it for everyone. But like for Figueiredo versus Moreno, he just at a certain point he's like, pretty sure. Or no, you know what it was? It was Tony versus Oliveira. He's like, pretty sure Tony's arm is broken. Pretty sure it's broken. Or no, it wasn't. It was fake. Or no, it was Moreno. It was Moreno. Because it was Moreno's shoulder.
Okay, I do remember that, and I remember I was talking to I think Kyle.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, Rogan won't shut the fuck up. Like, watch the fight.
He just keeps saying it over and over and over. But Rogan is notoriously bad about that. It's worse when he's with DC, where they just get wild underdog bias. Where it was the same thing with Valentina versus fucking Jennifer Maia, where like Jennifer Maia puts her on the cage for 2 minutes like she's Randy Couture, and all of a sudden Joe Rogan thinks she's gonna win the fight, and you're like, what are we doing, bro?
That was probably the most egregious example, but I remember it kind of
that was not that long ago.
What's up?
That wasn't that long ago, and he's been doing this shit for a decade.
He's been doing it for a while. I just remember the most obvious example to me is when Al Iaquinta fought Khabib. And Iaquinta's like maybe barely hitting him with the jab, and Joe's like, I think Khabib's getting touched up here. This is bad.
The best example is every single Cyborg fight where he's like, I think Cyborg's slowing down, and it's like halfway into the first round, and she's just fucking up some girl with no hesitation, and she does it for another 3 rounds, and Joe the whole time is like, the real question is Cyborg going to slow down? You're like, no, bro, she's not. Why would she? She's just cleanly fucking a girl up, like.
So anyways, yeah, they said too much fluffing of the underdog constantly. Yeah. It was what the fuck bad. They said the flyweight division needs more fighters because it's clearly exciting again.
Well, if they didn't cut all of them in the first place and then rehire them and then say Sean Shelby fixed the division.
16 fighters total on the roster, something like that.
That was the most UFC shit to be like, yo, Sean Shelby reimagined this division and now it's one of the most popular. You're like, yo, you mean he rehired all the people you guys cut 6 months ago, including your champion? You're refixing the. What the fuck else did you do? You just mashed toys together again. It's fucking. I'm a grumpy bitch this week. Is my point.
Yeah. They also talk about Tony Ferguson has been slowing down for a while. Yeah. And let's not take away the incredible performance from Charles Oliveira. I was bummed. I'm a big Tony fan. It is what it is. The dude's he's about 38 now, and Charles Oliveira is still very much in his prime.
Yeah.
It's kind of bound to happen.
Yeah. It's one of those things where.
Fighters.
Yeah, for a long time we've been seeing Tony slow down. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he couldn't get fights for so long because of a bunch of different reasons, which is a bummer.
Yeah, they also kind of state, like a lot of other podcasts did, or at least a couple that I listened to, that Charles Oliveira absolutely needs to fight for the title sooner than later. You don't want it to be like another where he just gets looked over or it just doesn't work out timing-wise. And then Mookie says, he says, I think it's going to be popular or just a common thought now that if Tony would have fought Khabib at this point in particular, it just Khabib would have made his guard look fucking useless, and it probably would have been over pretty soon. And
Yeah, but like,
I can't disagree with that. I don't know if like
I don't know how much weight you can put into it.
Yeah, do I think Khabib wins? Absolutely, I would 100%.
In retrospect,
agree.
Yeah.
In
I think it's pretty clear.
In hindsight, right?
But
yeah, Khabib wins probably.
It also depends on what era of both their careers. Like, I bet you there
Exactly.
was a year where Tony would have made that really fucking ugly.
I think that would have been 2015 probably when they were supposed to fight like the first time.
Yeah, like somewhere between 15 and 17 probably. Is probably what it would have been. Like, before Khabib was just Michael Johnsoning dudes, and before Tony was just taking wild damage in every fight. I mean, even more so.
Yep. Then there was too much for me to really just jot down when I was listening, but there was an awesome breakdown of fighters' health insurance situations from John Nash, unions.
So I got a little bit about that. So the main things that John Nash covered that I found really interesting is he came out and talked a lot about the antitrust ruling, which is going to be a constant theme during this episode. He also did talk about what the suit's about in general, the difference between monopolies and monopsonies, which is a pretty important difference. I'm going to butcher this, and so please go look this up, but my very basic understanding is a monopoly is where you are the only product to sell. Is that right? Am I getting it right, or am I getting it backwards?
I thought a monopoly.
Monopolies, you're the only. No. Monopolies, you're the only product to sell. Yeah, monopolies, you're the only seller. Monopsony is you're the only buyer. So essentially, the UFC is the only buyer in MMA with any kind of real power. Meaning everyone else in MMA who has any kind of buying power, it's kind of secondary to can the UFC just outbid them and force them out of the industry. Is my understanding. I could be fucking that up. Also,
I thought it's bad. I think the monopolies were you're the only buyer because you're buying everything up. I think you have it backwards. I'm probably wrong. And I think monopsonies when you sell, right?
Okay, so sell it.
Disney,
you know what? Now that I'm thinking of this more, it's not seller and buyer. It's are you? See, this is why I try not to go this in depth on this shit. Is because there's very specific phrasing on this thing, and I want to not fuck it up. So instead, I recommend you go and listen to Bookie and Cormier episode 100.
Yeah.
I'm 100% misquoting it. You're right, Chris. It's not buyer or seller. It's not resource, but it's something like the word resource. It's too specific a phrase that I'm gonna fuck up when I've been drinking this much at 9:30 in the evening in the West Coast on a Friday night.
Yeah, I just remember monopolies essentially are just a big giant conglomerate group that just buys everything up, or it's just making an unfair advantage in the market, or just capitalist market for any other business trying to just make an earning or profit. So like say Apple, Disney, any of those giant...
Right, but those are giant sellers. They're selling. They have giant amounts of content.
Yeah, because they're selling a product.
Whereas the UFC is a monopsony because it's buying a product, which is fighters.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
I believe that's my understanding.
I was just thinking from the point that they buy everything, but they have to sell their product. That's right.
Also, Chris, that's a very, very inept and inadequate kind of comparison, especially because Disney clearly has nothing to do with cage fighting, and they would never have anything to do with cage fighting. So I don't know how you could possibly make that kind of comparison. Also, Disney has notoriously never had independent contractors that they refuse to pay union wages. These are all very unfair comparisons as far as I could tell. Shouts out to
I'll say the one thing
California.
they have in common is they don't mind firing or letting people go on a quick notice.
Yeah. Shout out to fucking the entire world of the pandemic. Hey, to be fair, politicians don't mind it either, huh? Anyway.
Yeah, let me go to my fancy restaurant.
Yeah, where's my fucking... let me go ahead and just throw that GIF in again like I do every time on Twitter of of what's his face saying, "Come on, Pookie, let's burn this motherfucker down."
Yeah, Anthony Anderson from Harold and Kumar.
100%.
Like
That's my feeling about the entire U.S. Almost every day. I could tweet that about almost every tweet. It sucks. Fuck this country.
That, and in that same movie, the gif of Ryan Reynolds as the nurse going, "But why?"
Yeah. But why? Yeah. 100%. Both of those are America every day to me, and it'll never get better. But I like to be optimistic. I don't.
Hey, in these trying times, support your local business and
that's
your local
right.
brewery.
Hey, you know what? You know what does matter in these trying times? Good food and good beer. That's what I've found.
Oh, and one last
makes
thing I know
every
I'm
day a
rambling
little
because I'd like
better.
to talk. Another unofficial sponsor of the show, San Diego Chicken Pie Shop. I haven't eaten there in years. Very.
Oh yeah, we
fucking
gave him a big old link and a plug last week.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll give it to him again
There you
because especially if you're in North Park, please help them out.
That's right.
They've been there since 1938.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually. They're technically on my list right now. I guess if we're just in the middle of this episode, Chris, we are 45 minutes in and we've done almost nothing on this episode so far. This is how our podcasts go recently. Can you guys tell what our priorities are lately? Might not be hitting me as much, huh? But, I mean, if we're being honest, I still listen to fucking 500 MMA podcasts. I just think a lot of them are not worth mentioning. We'll get to the good ones. But you gotta stick with us, or we're just asking on Twitter, and I'll just tell you. Well, where was I? Oh, right. I guess if we're doing food shout-outs, my big food shout-out, which I actually have on the way via delivery, I think as we speak, is the taco stand in La Jolla. I don't know if you know about this place.
When I worked in La Jolla, I would occasionally go there after work. I like that
But
spot.
it's by far maybe the best tacos in San Diego, right? Like,
And you know what's funny?
dude, it's fucking incredible.
I'll say this.
Delivery,
I'll say this.
also the
I think
delivery
their
prices
tacos
is
are very
stupid.
good. But I've also had friends of mine say, "Bro, it's one of the most overrated." I'm like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Like
They're
what are you
just
gonna say is
wrong.
better? Like Tacos El Gordo or some shit? Like, come on. Like, where's the
Sure.
fucking?
I won't even
Yeah.
say that they're necessarily wrong. That saying tacos El Gordo is good.
and,
Also,
but I just remember every time I've mentioned, "Yo, have you had a taco stand?" Immediately they chastise me and say it's overrated. Like, dude, you fucking just let me say it.
well, you know why? It's because people hate lines. Number one, which, by the way, I'm getting it delivered, so that's not a problem. Number two, the other thing with taco stand is it's super fucking cheap. It's super cheap. It's $4 tacos of like some of the best tacos in San Diego. So yeah,
Yeah, they're good size.
shout
There's
to,
also one downtown on B Street.
That's right. So I guess if we're just doing food plugs, let's just do food plugs. We both fat kids at heart. One of us in body. Both of us at heart. So
One in my face.
there you go. Hey, to be fair, it's winter in San Diego. Everybody's a little chunky. Anyway, all right, Chris. So we talked a lot about where the fuck were we, man? We're so off the rails.
So I discussed Mookie and Crookie, and you were talking more about the John Nash stuff, and then we
Right.
kind of pretended like we
Looking
knew what we were
for
talking
episode
about.
100 was awesome. The John Nash stuff about boxing was interesting. I liked it in general. We'll keep moving on because we gotta crank through some stuff because we are already way too deep in this. Weighing in episode 106. Chris, you might have had this on your list as well. I'm not sure if
Weighing
you did.
in.
Yeah,
don't
that's the
believe
one
so.
with Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy.
Unfortunately, I did not get that memo.
Oh, interesting. So that's one of the ones I sent to you as one of the ones I was listening to. So the big thing that was interesting is they had on Nate Quarry. Oh, I don't know if you remember Nate Quarry.
Oh no, I remember. Oh, no,
The
I'm thinking
Caleb
of Nate
Starnes fight.
Marquardt.
It's the Caleb. Yep, that's the one. The Caleb Starnes fight. Go ahead and do the Caleb Starnes fight fucking motion where he tried to chase him the entire time and he did the fucking trying to punch him while holding his forehead move. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
I've made you watch this on Fight Pass while we were on an episode in the past, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Yes, Nate the Rock Quarry, fucking classic fighter in the UFC. Huge, like crazy heavy hands. Classic legend. We've had some goddamn brawls with a ton of people. But he came on to talk about the antitrust suit, which he is one of the main people in. And it's a really interesting discussion. There's a lot of back and forth between him and Josh Thompson, Thompson, no P in Josh Thompson's name, which I always fuck up. Yeah, they had a real back and forth because weirdly, and I don't understand why, Josh Thompson kind of just like does. Actually, I do know why. He pulls a very. Let's put it this way. He pulls a very pro manager, pro owner, pro corporation take against Nate Quarry's pro union, pro worker take. We'll put it that way. About the whole UFC antitrust suit. And a lot of it is Josh Thompson being like, "Oh, I don't see a problem with the way the industry works. I mean, it works the way it does because the UFC is the best, so that's why they get to take. That's why they get so much money." And you're like, dude, you know.
So he's a shill.
Yeah, but he works for Bellator. Like, what? Why? Like, he could be a part of the antitrust suit if he wanted. He could just put his name on it and he could make money. But he's like still standing for. He's like, well, no. I mean, you realize you might change the way the industry works, and everyone's like, hey, yeah, bro, that's the point. Because otherwise, fighters can get fucked forever. He's like, yeah, but you realize you might not get 13 or 20 fights on the card. You might only get 8. You're like, that's not. It's not worse.
Such an ignorant.
He's like, well, no, but you're not. The thing is then all those people won't be in the UFC. You're like, but then they'll be in feeder leagues that can pay them more appropriately, and they can make their way to real money in the UFC. It's the most broken arguments I've ever heard. So it's worth listening to just because it's so wild. It's such a wild conversation. Caleb Starnes. It's the Caleb Starnes fight. It's the fucking Nate Quarry Caleb Starnes fight where he does he goes after him at one point where he does the classic like 14-year-old that you're in middle or 13 probably 12-year-old you're in middle school, put one hand over your head and try to hit somebody with the other hand.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was one of the most legendary. He actually gives a pretty great background for that, but yeah, it was an interesting conversation, especially with Big John there because Big John is very pro-union and very pro-fighter. And Josh Thompson, to be fair to Josh Thompson, was very much playing like a contrarian. Like, that was his role. He kind of like took that role and was like, you know, it would be more interesting radio, of course, if he's going to be the contrarian and all that. So you can give that credit if you want. It
is kind of unfortunate, though, that on some podcasts there always is just a constant contrarian role.
Yeah,
like,
because it doesn't.
Like, what is this
really
fucking
needed.
Talk radio?
Well, no, you could have a contrarian opinion. You don't have to have a contrarian role where you have someone there to be wrong. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's my opinion because I'm also the most fucking like radical fucking dig up the streets Hunter S. Thompson style fucking politics asshole. So don't at all listen to what I have to say about any kind of politics because I'm the most radical asshole about all this shit. Like, I think most fucking government is broken and most corporations are broken and really we need more anarchy. So, like, I'm not the person to listen to at all.
You gotta upset the established.
No, I just mean, like, we could use some more, like, just burning as a culture. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I hate everything. So, really, it's just my pessimism coming through. I just feel like, we haven't killed a politician in long enough in America, is all I'm saying.
Well, we still have
I didn't say a specific one, so that's not a
Still
threat
have
on
about
politics,
11
right?
less than
That's how
2
it
weeks
works.
left of 2020, so it wouldn't
Oh,
surprise
don't
me.
do that. That makes it more specific on a politician threat. I was trying to make the vaguest politician threat of
Oh
all
no,
time.
I didn't specify.
I mean, you sure
which,
give it
which,
what?
which national
boy.
politician. I didn't say it was a national. It could be country. It could be worldwide politicians. So who
I'm
knows?
gonna go ahead and pretend we're just gonna move on, Chris. None of us said anything, and we're just gonna keep on moving on. Where were we?
I
really don't remember. This wasn't a joke this time. I got
the
so
dog.
distracted by the last
Rain
one.
is dreaming right now. Her
Okay,
eyes are
I got
twitching
it.
and
I got one. Do
she's
you have any
moving the
other
pond.
catches for this week, Chris? Dear God,
What's up?
can you I said, dear God, can you segue out of this with any other catches for this week?
Yeah. Let me help you out. Let's see. So I know there's the one that you sent me where you talked about they didn't have video for it. I listened to the audio from the December 4th episode. I don't know if you want me to talk about that. Wow.
Sure, because I don't know what the fuck it was. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, no, that's my new show.
What's up?
That's the new show, so we're going to get to that one in a bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was asking.
You know what? Let's put it as a new show because I don't feel like putting it as a catch is going to be fair.
Yeah, that's fine.
After what I have to say about it.
I have one more catch.
Okay, perfect.
It was Throwing Elbows, episode 106.
Oh, sweet. I did not listen to this.
I haven't listened to these guys in a minute. The host of the show, I always forget his name because they said intro so quickly. He was bragging about how he was able to buy a PlayStation 5 on the Best Buy website after just
nice.
kind of being there for 4 hours and just refreshing constantly.
Yo, I wish I had like $500 free income kind of expenditure to be able to throw on a PlayStation 5 right now. That'd be tight.
Yeah, I agree. Then they go, okay, yeah. By the way,
Then
there's
again, I'd be
fights
buying weed in way too big quantities to be doing that. So go ahead.
They said, what a fight last week in between Moreno and Figueiredo. Holy fuck. Talk about Chucky Olive's beatdown of Tony Ferguson and how Tony Ferguson said he mentally beat him in the first round, which is sad to see that video. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They'd love to see Oliveira. Thank you for the camera adjustment, Rain. Fight for the title, even though the UFC is pulling hard for Conor against Poirier. I mean, that's obvious. Their fighter of the year is Kevin Holland. I mean, yeah, that knockout was nuts.
I mean, the fight of the year is not Kevin Holland, but that knockout was crazy, and Kevin Holland has been the most fun fighter of the year. I'll say that easily. It's not even close, really. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The dog is just doing everything she can to just make me just stop everything.
Hey, to be fair,
Yep,
she's been beautifully quiet during this.
You got an itch? Oh, you got a big itch. Oh, let's move. Yep. Now the paw is on the laptop. And
Hey, to be fair, you're good so far. I'll let you know if you have a problem.
all right. Yeah, we're good. Oh, yawning time. All right. Anyways, yeah, it was a solid episode all around. I didn't really write too much down. It's kind of more or less I was listening to it while doing something else.
To be fair, it sounds great, though.
Yeah, those guys just kind of are always kind of witty towards each other, and then they'll just casually just go into the fights and just kind of speak their mind. And yeah, they didn't hesitate to really call out the wow, that's big adjustment.
You're so
right
good.
there.
You're so good.
Okay, hi, now you're awake, and now you're mad at me. It's okay.
We got hella dogs on this episode, and I'm here for it, bro.
But yeah, they were just saying, like, you know, how much obviously is it in their best interest? The UFC is just gonna how they promote that Poirier McGregor fight, where they're saying what happens if Poirier wins? Like, legitimately, what the fuck does the UFC even do? Do they do an interim title fight with Poirier and somebody because Khabib technically still has the belt? Like, what do they actually do? So they had some fun scenarios.
That's interesting.
I think they said you do Charles Oliveira against Dustin Poirier for just the title if Khabib is retired, but they said there's still some confusion because is he really retired?
Right.
He says he is. You know, he wants to keep a promise and all that. I think he's retired. I don't think he's gonna fucking come back.
Those are things in May retirements, bro. Sean Sheen will be the first to tell you. He's right every goddamn time. Also, shouts out to a podcast we're going to talk about later, which also had an MMA retirement.
Oh, that's right. But that's all I got. That's all I had written down.
Oh, let's see. So some ones I have on here. Submission Radio. They don't number their episodes anymore, and they also do to break them up into chunks because I'm guessing because of Podcast One, although it's Australian Podcast One, so I'm giving them slightly more credit than shitty ass Westwood One Podcast One in LA, who's a bunch of fuckboys who are a big problem that I'm not a big fan of for a lot of reasons, including podcast history with. You know what? All I will say is podcast history with somebody I'm going to mention as one of my well-rounded shows. We'll say that. So anyway, Submission Radio was a great episode, though. The preview for Thompson Neal that had Shawnee Podcast on. Fucking awesome. So Dennis and Casper talked to Shawnee about you all going to Bellator. Let's talk about the UFC cuts. And they go into depth about whether Neal's going to try and fight Wonderboy kind of the same way he fights everyone else, or whether he's going to try and fight him differently. They do also mention that Geoff Neal was actually technically went septic about 4 months ago.
Yep, that was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, which is insane when you realize it was only 4 months ago. It feels like it was 6. Like that. When I heard it was only 4, it really kind of made me nervous about this fight, to be honest. It makes me question the booking of it also, to be honest. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I really liked this episode. Of course, Shawnee Sheehan, being the Irishman that he is, 100% buys Conor McGregor's talk about wanting to come back and fight more regularly. And like it's not just talk to try and not get involved in rape cases. And this is 100% not Sean Sheen's comments. This is my comments. But
I figured.
I figure every time Conor McGregor starts talking, he all of a sudden is weirdly in a case against him. So, I don't know. I figure it's 50-50.
I think it's 50-50. I think the guy wants to fight.
I think he wants to fight so everyone stops talking about the rape cases. But yeah.
I mean, it's both.
It's both. I mean,
it's both. The dude's clearly committed to training,
but he's clearly committed.
Yeah, it's just both. That's just the only answer.
He's clearly committed to not being abiding by the rules at this point as well. So, all right. Well, now that I've made that terrible, my other catch for this week was a lot less terrible and was actually one of the most fun things I listened to overall. If I was to give you one show that I recommend you listen to this week, it's 100% this, and it's Ceremonial Weigh-In, season 2, episode 1. This is Angie Hill's show is back, Chris.
So how is she doing? I know she tested positive.
So they haven't done this show in 6 months, and so this is what this whole episode is about. She talked about being back and training. She talks about the anti-science crowd in MMA right now, and Adam actually talks about how it makes him sad about all, like, you go to a gym and everybody just fucking doesn't, everybody hates, like, both Angie and Adam make a bunch of jokes about how everybody hates science right now in MMA, and it sucks. Which is like
everybody that's every fighter, but there's a lot of fighters that have a PhD in bro science. I mean, that's how it works.
The thing is, like, everyone that is, I'm not gonna say all the smart people in MMA, but I'm gonna say all the people.
You mean Joe Rogan, right?
I'm gonna say all the people with formal educations in MMA seem to have a much better and more round understanding of the situation at hand. They seem to be handling it much more like adults, and it's very refreshing to hear Angie and Adam talk about it like that. They also got COVID, which was interesting to hear because they talked kind of their way through that and how rough it was. They said it like sucked for a couple days, but they were able to make their way through it. But it was like bad for they said it was like bad for a couple days. Like especially Adam said he like couldn't smell or taste anything for a couple days. It was like pretty fucked up. It was interesting to hear that. They also talk about the official Blanca of Street Fighter tier rankings of colors. Like which Blanca colors are the best. It's obviously green, number one. But like blue is number 2, but there is a Blanca tier ranking system to go through that I appreciated. Angie also during this episode is drinking Santa's Little Helper. So like if you want to have a more, I mean arguably it's very hard to be more California or especially San Diego related craft beer lover than to be drinking Santa's Helper on a podcast in December, right? You know this beer, right? You're looking at me like you don't know this beer. You don't know You don't know Port Brewing's Santa's Little Helper?
Let me fucking see this,
dude. I think you've had it with me at.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure I have. I'm like, dude. The reason why the title of this episode is because I'm the sleepy dog. It's fucking obvious.
I mean, you and the sleepy dog next to you, but I do believe I do believe we've had it together at. Maybe we haven't. I've had it at Tap House a couple times. I also had it at Brian's O'Brien's on Convoy. It's like a go-to place that always has it.
I actually believe I have not had this beer. I've seen this beer. I've seen this beer in liquor stores. I've never had it.
Yeah, because it's at a bunch of liquor stores near you. Like I know.
I'm sure it's at Jimbo's.
Every year, Jimbo's and Par has it.
I'll pick some up tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Before the end of the year, Chris is going to have one of those on air.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, I won't even describe it until I actually drink it. So it sounds really good.
It's real good. Yeah, no, I think I've actually. I think you might have even had one at my old place back in.
I'm sure I've had the beer.
Because I've definitely had them around you. I'm surprised you haven't had one. But yeah, it's a great beer. Anyway, classic. That's like the classic San Diego. It's port. It's not pizza port. It's Port Brewing, I believe. I think.
No, I saw it just said Port Brewing.
Yeah. It's not, but it's absolutely incredible. It's one of my go-tos every year. Or everyone in San Diego, honestly. So yeah, that was that. Also, Angie gives some bro tips on if you're. She says, if at all you want to fight someone and you have any training, as long as their neck is smaller than their jawline, you can go ahead and take them.
That's pretty amazing.
It's a pro tip from Angie. So I really enjoyed that a lot. She's like, yeah, they got a skinny neck. You can fuck them up. Don't worry about it. She also is going to be starting a podcast at some point with her dad, talking about her grandpa's UFO stories that she's hinted at in the past, which should be cool. So, yeah, so those are all my overall catches for this week. But, yeah, I don't know. It's an eclectic mix for sure. We've been a little bit all over the place, but they're all fun. And I had a great time with them. Let's see, Chris, you have any can't miss or skips for this week?
Yeah, I had the little caveat at the beginning.
We talked about your fuckboy skip. Or God damn it, you started using that phrase. Talk about your dumb boy skips at the beginning.
Just douchebag skip, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
You're being adult skips. All right. Well, on that note, I guess I'll get to a couple can't misses that I have. Chris, I think we talked about this last year, but the TSN MMA show, Aaron Bronstedter's podcast, they had their 2020 year-end roundtable, which is around an hour, and it's with Aaron Bronstetter, and he brought on Mike Bond.
I forgot, is Joe Valentini still on there?
So he's on their regular podcast, but for the roundtable he wasn't on it. Because for the roundtable, Aaron Bronstetter generally brings on a bunch of other journalists to talk about kind of the year-end review kind of situation. So for this one, he brought on Mike Bond, Mark Raimondi, Brian Campbell, and Sean Al-Shadi. It was a lot of fun, man. This is honestly one of my favorite podcasts every year. I just really enjoy Aaron Bronstetter's takes on this shit. It's very much I always love year-end recaps. That's why we do one. I think they're 100% useless and 100% not, like, no one should ever actually base any kind of awards off of them necessarily, or any kind of, like, credibility off of them, but I think they're just fun because it gives you something to look back on 5-10 years from now, right? Because that's really all they're good for, right? Because you look back on it. Like, at the time, it's kind of worthless, but 10 years from now, you're like, oh, you know what? Those 5 podcasts were pretty cool. Or you look back on it and you're like, oh, dear God, I mentioned the name of that podcast with that one dude on it that I really wish we didn't do.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, that's how time works, right? So, anyway, my can't miss for this year, yeah, it's that 2020 year roundtable with Aaron Bronstetter. He has Aaron Bronstetter, Mike Ball, and Marco Mondi, Brian Campbell, Sean Al-Shadi. They talk about Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jacek and whether or not it's the fight of the year, which they unanimously decided it is. I think it's not even close, right?
No, that's 100% fight of the year. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen in general.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's even close is everyone saying Fig versus Moreno, but it's not even close. As far as I'm concerned. They also talk fighter of the year. I don't want to give away their answers, so I'm just going to go through the categories they go over. They talk about this time next year who's going to be the champ for each division, which is always an interesting discussion. And then Aaron also talks about who everyone had as picks for the previous year. So it's a fun episode. Brian Campbell brings up the theory that you always pick Abe Lincoln in these types of scenarios in the year 2020. He's like, if you're going to pick someone to win a belt, pick the Abe Lincoln. Which I feel like you know what that refers to.
It's funny that he says that. Because I remember, I think that's even going back 2 years ago now. That was always the pick. At least I read it.
100%.
So, I'm glad that was said.
Yeah, it's good. Brian Campbell actually
think about it. How many times did that dude fight this year?
Well, and Brian, to be fair, not just him, but like just in general, like every division. If you pick the dude with the Abe Lincoln beard, you're probably not going to be wrong that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then lastly, I think on that they have a 1-star, a 2-star, and a 3-star hot take prediction that they go around and do. So, like for example, they'll do like a 1-star prediction that's like pretty mild that like might happen. 2-star, very unlikely. And then like for example, Brian Campbell 3-star, I'll go ahead and spoil is. His fire take is that Misha versus Ronda 3 might happen in the UFC this year. That's his fire take. Which, like, when you hear it out loud, you're like, oh, that's stupid. And then you think about it, you're like, fuck, I can see that happening. Depending on how bad numbers go in 2021. I can see that happening. I think Ronda thinks she can armbar Misha in 2021 still.
Did you say armbar?
An armbar. An armbar.
You tell me this every time. Where the fuck is that from again?
Sean Sheehan.
Yeah, that's like
Shawnee Podcast. It's my favorite thing of all time. Oh man, it cracks me up every time. Anyway, they also talk what do you want to see in 2021 and who do you want to see sign to the UFC. It's one of my favorite kind of recap shows every year, and he's one of the few that does it before the end of the year. So I always enjoy it, and this was especially a good one. Because, dude, honestly, Mike Bond, Mark Ramondi, Brian Campbell, and Sean Al-Shadi, like, while they're not... If I was to make a panel, I don't know that I would necessarily pick any of them except for maybe Mike Bond. But it's still a very good panel of very bright dudes with very good opinions that you're not going to get just, like, Conor McGregor answers for everything, you know? So, I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Let's see. Did you have any other can't misses for this week?
I forgot. I didn't have any. Oh no, I did have notes. I'm just blind, stupid fuck. CME live chat was very fucking funny.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that yet. Is that your can't miss?
Yeah, that was really
hell
funny.
yeah.
It's one of those where I got too caught up in just listening to it. I think I was driving too. That's half of these. What if I don't have notes? It's because I'm driving, and
Well,
clearly I'm not going to
especially-
fucking endanger myself.
When
while,
it's
you know.
hard, since I'm no longer driving from place to place, it makes it a little bit easier. But also, CME is hard to take notes on because it's just kind of like,
Well, to be fair,
off top
they
of the
have
head.
their format, which is good, but
Yeah.
they'll also talk like us for like an hour,
Yeah. Well, they'll just go off and talk
or
about
what
fucking
seems like an hour.
100%.
Because
Also,
those guys are
wait,
really good
while
at
we're
saying
talk-
so many
yeah.
things in a short span of time.
I was gonna say while we're talking about this, I just recently, actually last night, watched what's the fucking Bruce Willis? Not Bruce Willis movie. Mel Gibson movie, holiday movie,
Oh, Fat
Lethal
Man.
Weapon.
Oh, I'm thinking of the new movie he just did. Yeah,
No, no,
Lethal
no.
Weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Lethal
just watched Lethal Weapon and listened to the CME Lethal Weapon commentary that they have,
nice.
which is great also. But anyway, go ahead.
So, they love how, I mean, this goes back to this is before YouTube, when some asshole just comments first, but the one that they got was good. It was quite Franklin, fellas. First, that's the first comment, and they said that's a thing now.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. They were the
They
ones
ta-
that started all the Quite Franklin references, and I have been carrying all of them on Twitter at Rich Franklin with this shitty Christian fucking, like, I shouldn't phrase it like that, with his shitty anti-science fucking anti-mask COVID bullshit.
Just remember, if you have a family member that's dying on their deathbed, you just need a sacrament of the anointment, and they'll be saved by God.
Oh yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, no. Okay.
Just remember, faith beats science. All right.
Yeah.
That being said,
Hey, no.
um,
I'm not gonna go score stress. Keep going.
just remember, I
Chris,
was
you're
gonna-
the respectful one who went to Christian and Catholic schools. So I'm gonna go.
Oh
ahead
no,
and-
I'm not respectful at all. If you want to be honest, I can.
I mean,
a lot of people
no,
hate me. I mean,
no.
I-
I'm saying
if I'm
compared-
honest,
I'm
I
saying
say
compared-
fuck the
no.
Catholic Church.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
mean-
not saying I'm 100% against that. I'm saying 100% for it. But I was also gonna say,
I was gonna make a Kenneth Copeland joke because that dude's a fucking demon in human skin.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. You did exactly what I wanted.
But televangelists are a whole different.
Hey,
breed of
the only
beast,
worst
but,
ones are the ones who won't let fucking dying people into their churches, right, fuckboy in Texas?
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of that asshole,
What's his name?
Bill Burr, and the reason why this
It's
connects
not-
with Bill Burr is
okay, his
every
name's not
time
Bill
Bill
Burr.
Burr is in Houston doing
Yeah.
stand-up, he always reaches out to that guy. He says he reaches out to him and say, "Hey,
It's
man,
not Billy Graham.
don't-
What's his name?
what's up?"
It's not Billy Graham. What's his name?
No, Joel Osteen.
Thank you.
But Bill Burr says I reach out to that guy's agent or office every time. He's like, "Hey man, can you come to one of my comedy shows, or do I have to go to one of your services first?" And I think Bill said he bought a ticket to one of his services, and they found out, and they fucking banned him, and he was so pissed.
Yeah. It was
And
beautiful.
he was like, "No, I legitimately wanted to see what it was all about." He's like, "I'm not even trying to troll the guy."
well,
And
no,
just don't
but they
fucking-
didn't want that jokes. No, they
Yeah,
didn't.
because all it's gonna do is just give Bill so much material, which is fucking amazing. Anyways, Chad and Ben. Now I went
also
down that
fuck
whole
rich
fucking-
white people, right? In general.
Yeah, fuck rich white people who have millions of dollars and you're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's a hurricane
We
going
should
on.
say
you
not
can't
like
use my-"
not like regular rich white people, but like rich white people, like
rich
other.
white people who love Jesus are.
I was gonna say
generally
like moat rich white people. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, just
if you
look
could
at
have a
the
moat
Secretary
around
of State of the
your-
United
shit.
States. That is a very scary person, and everyone should be afraid of him because he's going to try to run for president. Don't think he'll win, which is good, but
Yeah.
very scary.
Well, we should
when
just
you
burn
have
this
a
whole
religion,
country to the ground at this
as your
point.
ally. Anyways,
Before I go.
enough with my
Anyway.
anti-religion rant. Ben and Chad, go ahead and talk about.
That's
how
right.
Chucky
They
Olives-
sure do.
What's up?
I said that's right. They sure do. I'm sorry. I'm just trying so hard to segue out.
Oh, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll just segue out just very
Oh, we'll just
sporadically.
light it all on fire. I think we already have. Keep going.
Yeah. Chucky Olives, he needs to get a title shot before his prime is wasted. This is mentioned by other podcasts as well, too, or just a few. One thing that someone brought up in the live chat, can athletes who've recovered from COVID, or at least trying to recover from COVID, be affected afterwards? The person in said live chat said, Jacare looked way too sluggish and lethargic after he was knocked out. Looked like he was about to be knocked out twice. They also bring up the example of the unfortunate college basketball player who collapsed and passed away due to complications from COVID-19 just a couple weeks ago, which is fucking crazy. They just basically just bluntly said, well, yeah, we don't have any medical knowledge or practice to really back that. No one really knows because COVID-19 affects everyone differently.
I mean, that's the kind of shit where it's... Man, it's time will tell.
The only thing I know on the basic level is that if you get COVID, there's always a different strain that can affect you in different ways, you know? It affects your breathing, okay? It affects your fucking heart, you know? It affects your brain, apparently, in some cases. And then you can get the COVID where it doesn't do shit, you know? If you're...
Oh, which I guess I should say, last week I started the episode saying how I was recently exposed, so we'll see. Girlfriend Karen tested negative, so as of right now, I'm cool. So that's good news. I'm not dying yet, y'all. I mean, no more than already. You know.
Right. Yeah.
No more than just from sheer despair and alcoholism. Oh, that wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be. Chris, give me a long pause on that one. Keep going.
Dude, you know what's funny? I can't honestly hear you half the time because I hear the dog snoring, and so I didn't hear maybe about like a good 10-15 seconds of but it's hilarious. All good. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about, but yeah, co-main event live chat on Patreon was solid, always funny. Someone had a comment. Oh yeah, their comment was penis, and it was a long pause, and it said, speaking on the topic of that, you know, and it's like, what did you think of the point deduction? You know, because that's just how people like to comment on that. And yeah, wow, that kick to the dick was pretty bad.
Yeah.
In the Moreno-Figueiredo fight. But that's what I got for the live chat. It's worth a listen if you support those guys on Patreon.
Hell yeah. So that's your KMS, right?
Yep.
Let's see. I already talked about the Fight Site show, right? Have I talked about that yet? No?
No, I did watch the intro. That was pretty good. I'll let you explain it.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was going to say. So, the Fight Site, oh my goodness. The Fight Site had, as they have been doing recently, their roundtable discussion. I'll have a link in the description, as always, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go to soundofbalance.com. We got a link in the description there. It's a goddamn mess. It's hilarious in all the best ways. Saram, Ryan, and Vic immediately make this show exactly what you want it to be. I don't even want to undersell it because you guys are going to hear the clip on the break of what they think about this card. So I don't want to preview it too much because I think it's one of the funniest takes about what we're going to see this weekend. So I don't want to burn Saram's intro too bad, but on it. But all I'm saying is, if you got Saram, you got Ryan Catboy Wagner, and you got Vic Rodriguez from Bloody Elbow all on the same show, that's my kind of show. It's a very fun preview show. There's a lot of funny jokes. There's a lot of goofy shit going on. Way deeper takes than anyone has any right to have. Good God, did Ryan do a fuckload of homework before this, except for the part where he understood the format of the show, so he 100% pulled a Ben, which is the funniest part, is that I love the Fight Site guys who do 100 hours of research on a fight, but they don't do 1 hour of research on the show they're about to be on their own network, and then they come on and fuck the format. It's my favorite shit. I think Kyle likes it too. I think it's what Kyle doesn't tell people on the low. That's all. I'm guessing. That's 100% a guess on my part, but I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. I had a great time with it, and I fucking loved it. But yeah, no, it's I mean, to be fair, it's a very, very extremely technical breakdown. I should not undersell it as like a goofy thing. It's a very technical breakdown. Ryan goes very in depth on the parts of Stephen Thompson's game that work, the parts of Geoff Neal's game that he thinks aren't gonna really adapt all that much to Stephen Thompson's game, and a lot of it coming down to whether or not Stephen Thompson can kind of hang just age-wise at this point. That was kind of the take across the board, give or take. A couple different options. I was talking a decent amount about Neal being able to set up a lot of his... whether or not Neal is going to be able to set up... Whether or not Neal's game is kind of set up... Sorry, I'm phrasing this fucking terribly. Whether or not Neal's game is kind of customarily set up to fail against someone like Wonderboy's traps. Where like a lot of Neal's game is pressuring forward, and a lot of his opponents have been just wild pressure fighters.
Yep.
So if you put
him against to deal someone that's more or less timing based,
exactly, and like how much of it is just going to be him walking into Wonderboy's traps, kind of thing.
I think it'll be. Well, we're gonna do it. We'll get into it,
but yeah. Also, the other big X factor is Wonderboy's age at this point, which is age and speed is like a real factor at this point. So interesting for sure. All right, I'm gonna run through these two quick new shows, Chris, and then I'm gonna have you. Do you have any well-roundeds or not well-roundeds? Honorable mentions.
I do not.
Okay, well, I'm going to go through two of these new shows, and then I'm going to have you well-rounded. So I'm going to need a piss break here in a second anyway, so...
Yeah, no worries.
Actually, wait, you listened to one of these new shows, Chris.
I did.
Why don't you start us off? I know exactly what you're going to talk about. I will say, this is approximately a 30-minute show, and I'm very interested...
You go ahead and take your piss. I'll just start talking about it.
You start talking about what it felt like to start listening to it, and then I have some questions for you when I get back.
All right. So the the new show that Pulver and I listened to, it's a new show from the guys at UFC Unfiltered. Jim Norton and Matt Serra. This one's called Inside UFC Training Camp, and it's, I guess, more or less hosted, or the segment is by Forrest Griffin. Immediately, and I kind of cheated, I saw the tweet that Pulver put out, or at our Twitter handle, that said, is it just me, or does it seem like Forrest is just reading the first 2 minutes like based off a script? And because I had seen that tweet, it kind of seemed more prevalent that was happening, and then later he kind of just goes along with either something he was already kind of talking about, or it's just him speaking with the fighters during their camp, about 3 to 4 weeks out. So the premise behind the show is Forrest Griffin does a little intro of each fighter that he's profiling. In this case, it was Bilal Muhammad, who's a welterweight, Geoff Neal, who fights tomorrow night at welterweight in the main event, and it was Chaos Williams. Is he welterweight or middleweight? I think he's a middleweight. I can't remember. But it was those three fighters. I know Geoff Neal is based out of Dallas. A lot of it was Geoff Neal talking about, him being at his job as a server, waiter in a restaurant, and kind of having to do that to even afford to have fight camps. Very just kind of just... a real, hence the name Inside Look. It was fascinating listening to the three of these guys. I know Bilal Muhammad is based in Chicago. He talks about what it's like, training outdoors in the snow because of hiding from the police cars that are going by trying to mandate the shutdown, and then the gym owner telling people not to keep the lights on so people can't notice them if they're open illegally. I remember Bilal Muhammad was talking about how their gym was trying to be low key and not attracting attention, but then you get Shoney Carter keeping the lights on, doing some weird shit. And his
Also,
own
shouts
training
out to
regimen.
Shoney Carter references
Yeah.
in the year 2020.
Of course, it would be Shoney Carter who does something like that.
To be fair, it's probably the reflection off all the goddamn glitter he's wearing.
Let's see. I was discussing a little bit how Geoff Neal talks about how his server job really kind of helped him afford even his gym membership,
Yeah.
as well as just his training camps. Yeah, because it was Bilal Muhammad, it was Geoff Neal, and it was Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams talks about his crazy sleep schedule or lack thereof. A real sleep schedule. I think he says the only consistency he has in his sleep is that he wakes up every morning between 4 and 6 a.m. So I guess just 5.
Right. There's not a lot of range in between there.
Yeah, and he's just like, I think Forrest is like, well, when the fuck do you go to sleep? And he's like, when I can.
It sounds like dude owns a rooster. Or a dog.
Or a young child or baby.
Yeah,
But,
one of them. Yeah, where he's like, other than the baby starts yelling, I leave, bro. That sounds very MMA. You're probably right, bro.
So, it was fun. And I had mentioned at the beginning, too, I said I kind of cheated because I saw the tweet that you put out about, I think it was in reference to the show where Forrest is reading off a script for 2 minutes.
Oh my god, bro. Yeah, first off.
And I was like, yeah, that definitely sounds like that.
The first 2 minutes of the show is, I don't know what idiot at the UFC decided the best way to do this is to hand Forrest a script. I don't know if you noticed, Forrest is reading off a script for like 90% of this first episode.
Yeah.
It's bad. He sounds bad when he reads. To be fair, most podcasters sound bad when they read. There are journalists who I really like and I respect and I really enjoy their podcasts even. I can hear them reading and I don't bring it up. But you guys, if you read through the lines, you probably notice me bringing it up. I hate it, dude. Everyone can hear when you read.
Because there's a massive difference between looking at your notes and talking in your conversational tone. Instead of just going like this, watch, like here's a note. The host was able to score a PS5 on Best Buy. What a fight between,
Well, and the problem is you have to, as a host, you have to differentiate between when you're reading or when you're talking. And MMA hosts are not doing that. And it drives me fucking insane. There are multiple hosts I really like who read off of fucking scripts they write ahead of time. And you can tell the difference because they read and then they start to have a conversation after and you're like, oh, this is much better all of a sudden because you're now having a conversation like a fucking podcast.
It's like maybe next time we do another podcast, I'll have my reading voice where I can enunciate a lot more clearly.
Yeah.
Next time on The Sound of Violence.
Exactly. You guys know when I read, but maybe it's just because I'm so bad at reading out loud that I can hear it. Because I hear it. But, dude, I'm the worst at it. That's probably why we don't have sponsors. Oh, well, that because I hate corporations, but...
Dude, don't you just want a giant sponsorship logo just slowly
Hey, to be fair, we should say that as you say that, fucking Sean Sheehan did comment last week and not only fix his own
slowly
logo.
enveloping.
Sean Sheehan did not only fix the Severe MMA logo, but said it was super unintentional that it was that large last time. So we should clarify that on air. And for that same record, I should say, I you know me, and you know if for us to have a sponsor, it has to be something I use in my daily life, or it has to be a booze sponsor. Really, what we need, it's a booze sponsor.
Food or booze? Let's just go full Wayne's World. We will not bow to any sponsor.
Unless they give us booze, yes, or weed. I'll go ahead and take a weed sponsor any day. That was me just dumping a fucking porter on my lap right now. That was great.
I was going to say on your laptop or computer. I'm like, well,
no, it's just on my lap. So it's gonna be great later. Everything in my life is sticky from now on. So this is gonna be a fun rest of the episode. Anyway, yeah, where were we? We talked about...
we talked about inside the UFC, and then Forrest Griffin reading, and then a lot of other people read, too.
I have so much to say, but I just dumped porter all over my fucking life. So this is going to get real interesting now. Okay. So while I go ahead and try and not spill continuous booze all over myself while I talk about this, Chris, here are my biggest problems. Yeah, first off, those intro reads were so fucking egregious that they really made me not want to listen to the episode. They're just bad. Like, I don't know why you would make Forrest Griffin read pre-written intro packages. I don't think they're written by him. If they are, I thank God, because they should be. But, like, none of it comes off like anything he would write. And it's kind of fucking frustrating to listen to. Also, they're clearly just doing a very lazy impression of a combo of Serial meets UFC package, right? Like, it's so overproduced. There's a music bed on every fucking segment. Basically, the entire show it's a short clip of Forrest pre-reading a line that clearly was recorded prior to or after the actual interview. The fighter then responds with one or two sentences from that actual interview, which then Forrest responds out of context, no longer on that interview, and then says, yeah, well, so about whatever. It feels like the laziest, and like it feels like no one was ever in the same room during any of this.
You know what it is? It's almost as if he's reading script for a fucking rundown for like a news package, like on broadcast,
right.
Like a broadcast
that they got 6 minutes of audio clips for, and that they have to splice in between the list of packages they gave him.
Yeah, like they'd go like this. They go, I'm reading my script, and obviously I'm not even there. Geoff Neal works, all day at this restaurant in downtown Dallas, and he goes, but 100%. When he's not training for something, he's doing this.
Dude,
and then it shows
100%.
Thing from Geoff Neal. Yeah, I wasn't training. It's a fucking 100%. Package.
Yeah, it literally is like it feels like local news almost, but like more poorly produced. But if you were to put a really, really bad music bed under it that faded in and out weirdly, it's very frustrating, man. And like, I'm not the most picky about this shit. I mean, I am picky, but I'm not the most picky. Like, I'm sure if TJ Sanchez heard this shit, he would have so many notes for production. It's upsetting. And then on top of that, the three people they pick are people who they clearly have promotional investments in, which is Geoff Neal, who they are expecting to beat Wonderboy Thompson, Bilal Muhammad, who is now Ali Abdelaziz's client, who recently blocked us on Twitter for mentioning that Ali Abdelaziz is linked with a fucking homicidal dictator, homophobic dictator who's been sanctioned by the U.S. government. And then Chaos Williams, who they have tried every single week to make a bigger star off of booking him on shitty, overmatched matchups. So for this to be their big fucking episode on their intro, and then you make Forrest Griffin read your pre-prepared notes about this shit, it sucks. Everything about this sucks. So I don't know, man. It's just maybe the most frustrating piece of content I've actually heard them put out as a podcast. Because like it all sucked, man. It was just like I don't mind hearing what the fighters have to say, but sure, but if the questions are
it's lazy, yeah.
Well, the three big questions were on the first episode: how's your diet going? What's your training like? Or how do you feel about overtraining? What's training like during a pandemic?
How firm is your stool?
Yeah, it's just the fucking worst. Like, it just sucked. Every part of it sucked. So, yeah, inside the UFC training camp, episode 1. And then at the end of the episode, Forrest Griffin did do me the favor of mentioning, if you don't like it, don't listen to any more of it. And I was like, easy answer, bro. Won't make that mistake again. I was going to listen to the next 2 episodes to see how the lead up to the actual fights went, but you saved me the time. The other episode that I have as a new show is the Legal Submission, episode 15. Chris, I don't know if you knew about this. I didn't know Jason Cruz had a podcast that he did that's like a short recap kind of legal episode MMA podcast.
Yeah, I was not aware of that.
So Jason Cruz, if you guys don't know, is part of the Show Money podcast crew. And he has a podcast called The Legal Submission. I caught episode 15, which he uploaded on YouTube, which is how I found out about it. And it's about 11 minutes long. I think it's his first video episode, and it's fucking awesome. He goes in depth about it, as you guys heard on the intro, that the clip of the actual description of the plaintiffs was it was the identity class, I believe, is what he described. Nope, not the identity class. It was the bout class that he described. And so it's interesting hearing a lawyer actually talk about this in depth. And that's why I always appreciate hearing Jason's take on it. He talks about how approximately 1,200 UFC fighters qualify for this antitrust case that just got certified by the judge. And so it's going to go to appeals court. Essentially, everyone expects the UFC to file an appeal. It's going to go to the Ninth Circuit of Appeals. And then, depending on that ruling, if it gets denied by the appeals, by the appeal court or whatever, however that works, then it's going to go ahead and actually proceed. If not, it'll go to basically jurisdiction for whether or not it's going to actually be appealed. And he talks about time frames for how long this could potentially last. Talks about all the people involved. It's a very informative and a very quick catch up. If you guys want like a quick 11-minute catch up on kind of the current state of the process, that's a great way to find one. And I love Jason. I mean, I call him Triple Henny Jason myself. That's how I know him as. Because, I mean, to be fair, Chris, I believe you and I both talked about Show Money Jason after last year, after one of the greatest Show Money episodes of all time. I believe that made our top episodes last year. I believe that was one of them. But, yeah, Jason's... aside from him being known as Triple Henny Jason, he is also a credible ass lawyer with actual ass information. So I enjoyed it quite a bit, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Nice.
Let's see. Did you have any honorable mentions?
No. Don't believe so.
All right, I got a fuckload, so I'm just gonna list them off very quickly. I don't know. Chris, you want to throw, like, something in before I do this? Do you have, like, something to shout out before I do this? Because I feel like I'm just going to prattle for fucking ever.
You just go for it. I mean, I gotta fucking piss.
Hey, you want to
too,
go take a piss? Go take a piss. This is perfect
let me,
time.
just do that real quick.
Timing.
And just a warning, the dog might wake up and try to follow me, so that might be chaotic. I hope she doesn't knock down my laptop.
Go for it. Don't worry about it. If she does, worst case, it's going to be great content. All right.
Not for me.
Well, for me, more likely. Wow. Right. Depending on how my editing goes. All right, go for it. All right, so here are my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Fighting With Myself, episode 83. Oh, God, Chris is pulling his dick out on air. Oh, God, we're never going to make... Just kidding. Fighting With Myself, episode 83. Aaron Juice Jackson is back, and I was very excited for it. 1-2 Punch, episode 14. I love 1-2 Punch. I don't give this show enough credit on... it's Fightful MMA, right? Oh my god, every MMA show has too close a network name, and it fucking makes me lose my goddamn mind every goddamn time. Oh my god, and of course everything is impossible to Google. I'm pretty positive it is. Here, let me just pull up our goddamn Twitter since I tweeted about this. Actually, you know what? You could pull up our Twitter, and you could also see about it. Yeah. It was, oh, fuck. I can't do this in real time. Okay, anyway. You know what I was talking about. 1-2 Punch, episode 14. It was great. Zane Simon guested. Yeah, it was really solid. I always appreciate Well, first off, I tweeted out. Now I'm remembering. 1-2 Punch, as I tweeted out, has consistently Shaq has the absolute best guests on every week. Maybe it's just because I don't know if he just scopes all the people we dig on this show and that's who he gets on, because it sure feels like that. Maybe me and him just have the exact same taste in people as human beings. I don't know how it works. I'm guessing every single week he must be sending messages to Jordan Breen trying to get him on. And every week Jordan Breen's drunk and being like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Yeah, but good God, would I love a Jordan Breen episode. If at all Shaq is listening, Jordan Breen is my dream guest for that show. But yeah, no, he had Zane Simon on this week, and it's good as always, man. I really enjoy it. Like, consistently he gets on my favorite guests, and I always enjoy it. Heavy Hands, episode 347. Let's see. They talk about the UFC's potentially taking 4 weeks off, which is pretty wild. They talk about Dana saying that Mick Maynard turned it around and made flyweight the best, which we mentioned earlier, which is the funniest shit. And then, of course, Heavy Hands, they had to talk about their deep love of Kevin Holland and how he's finally getting the appreciation he deserves. Because good God, Chris, Kevin Holland, if there's any bigger fans of Kevin Holland, is it not Heavy Hands?
No, they're definitely up there. Yeah, I don't think I can think of anyone besides them.
I mean, they're definitely, towards the top. Best Camp My Life, episode 9 I mentioned. It was really, really solid with Sean Al-Shadi. Fights Gone By, 246 was really good. Verbal Tap, episode 439. They had Sam from the Southpaw podcast back on. And holy shit, that was a great episode. That actually could have been higher on the list, probably, for sure. Although a lot of these could be. Severe May, episode 292 with Andy Stevenson was a lot of fun. Who subbed in for Graham. The Eurobash, December 14, 2020, which is where I heard about the fact that Graham Boylan is currently moving, opening an office in San Diego, start a Cage Warriors division down here, start doing California versus Ireland cards, which, Sean Sheehan, I hope your ears and eyes are open, sir, because I feel like we might have to start having some content. Chris, you might have to write a goddamn article here or there.
I think so,
if
yeah.
you really wanted to, we might be able to get you some credentials to that motherfucker, honestly.
We'll have a fun little rivalry, too.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they're doing closed door events here in San Diego, I bet we could maybe get you credentials to that, depending on if you want to actually write something. So we might have to look into that, but either way, I'm excited for those cards just because there's a ton of talent in Southern California. Like, dudes like our boy Adrian Nahara, or not Adrian. Is it Adrian? Yeah, it's Adrian. DJ is the dude I went to school with. Adrian Nahara, who fought in Bellator recently, like, classic dude who's 125, 35, or depending on the day you ask him, who's just a goddamn beast of a wrestler training the Body Shop right now. Like, that is exactly the kind of dude they could get on a card. So, there's a ton of talent like that down here. Plus, you and I can both know fucking 10 people who train at gyms who are, like, fight ready.
Say that one more time. Something gyms fight ready?
Yeah, I saw you and I both know a ton of people who train at gyms who know people who are fight ready. Like, whether it be friends of friends or girlfriends of friends or boyfriends of friends, like, I mean, whether it be the Liz Carmouche's girlfriends of the world, or or everybody who's an AMI who's been looking to go pro, but there's no shows in Southern California. I like the Scott Conquer regionals. So yeah, it's just we're very much a region of AMIs because there's no real big shows down here right now. So it'll be cool to see.
Unless you're a certain dickhead who
Explode Fight Series is no longer around is the thing.
Unless you're a certain asshole who went to Torrey Pines High School, but
talk about that guy. We talked about old fuck boy anti-Jew recently, so anyway, let's see. So other than that, Care Don't Care was really solid this week, but yeah, as it is every week. Protecting Neck, episode 235 was really solid. Dan Tom talks about how he's a banked episode with Aaron Bronstetter coming up next week. And he's aiming for getting Connor Rebush on in 2021. Also, I always love Dan Tom's show because he talks about like shit like seasonal and holiday depression and like, I don't know. He's just a very relatable dude in that, like, maybe it's just because it's very much I very much relate to Dan Tom, so maybe that's why I say that. But I love that guy. He's always been great. And then lastly, let's see, the Fight Site Wrestling for MMA episode 17 was solid. Inside the Hexagon, rather, they did Strike Force at the Mansion 2, which is the second Play by Mansion show, which is a lot of fun. Then MMA Junkie episode 3113 was solid. So that is the main ones I had. Are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. That was weird. I couldn't tell if it just would. I don't know what the fuck that was.
That's hilarious. Honestly, I'm most of the way through the stuff we got. I mean, if you want to do a quick recap, we'll do a quick preview. We'll do a quick preview here in a second.
I mean, I think I'm just gonna do a quick recap at this point because tomorrow.
Right? Because we already did the recap.
Preview. See, my brain's all fucking scrambled, dude.
Bro.
Yeah, this has been super fun holding this mic. I'm definitely not getting a mic stand tomorrow. So.
Where, bro?
Yeah. To be fair, though, I haven't had a dog before having fun. She's not interrupting the podcast. She's just having a hell of a time sleeping, and she's being the sleepy dog she is. She likes stretching and saying, "Oh no, this is more comfortable." So I totally understand. It's just fun timing.
Oh, no,
it's really not. It's really not a big deal. I'm just being a fucking grouchy cunt because I want another beer right now. Gotta fuel myself.
Hey, to be fair, you and I ball. So you know what? On that note, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. I'm gonna play this clip of what the fuck is our clip? The Fight Site staff predictions for UFC Fight Night 183, where oh man, do they bring the fire as always? Saram with the saltiest of salt, and I love the Fight Site guys for exactly this. So, Chris, you ready to go grab beer? Recap on this motherfucker?
Am I?
Or preview on this motherfucker, actually.
Yeah.
Good God, we're so used to doing recap episodes. It's been so long since we've actually previewed cards.
Yeah, all right. Anyways, but this could be a fun little card to preview.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat something in the meantime, so I don't fucking sound like I'm dying anymore. So, shout out to the goddamn tacos that are about to save me, and we'll be right back.
There you go.
Liked by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one is the main event tomorrow. We're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it reports. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight. I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like? You really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
Liked by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one, the main event tomorrow, we're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight, I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like, you really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
Liked by the sound of violence.
According to the plaintiffs in its pleadings, the bout class contains all persons who competed in one or more live professional UFC promoted MMA bouts taking place on broadcast in the United States from December 16, 2010 to January 30th, 2017. The bout class excludes all persons who are not residents or citizens of the United States unless the UFC paid such persons for competing in a bout fought in the United States. What that means is that a lot of the individuals that have been a part of the UFC just for even one fight during this time period could claim a portion of this particular loss.
Liked by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one, the main event tomorrow, we're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight, I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like, you really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one, the main event tomorrow, we're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight, I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like, you really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one, the main event tomorrow, we're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight, I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights, that it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like, you really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
by the sound of violence.
According to the plaintiffs in its pleadings, the bout class contains all persons who competed in one or more live professional UFC promoted MMA bouts taking place on broadcast in the United States from December 16, 2010 to January 30th, 2017. The bout class excludes all persons who are not residents or citizens of the United States unless the UFC paid such persons for competing in a bout fought in the United States. What that means is that a lot of the individuals that have have been a part of the UFC just for even one fight during this time period could claim a portion of this particular list.
Liked by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one is the main event tomorrow. We're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight. I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like? You really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it all?
Liked by the sound of violence.
According to the plaintiffs in its pleadings, the bout class contains all persons who competed in one or more live professional UFC promoted MMA bouts taking place on broadcast in the United States from December 16, 2010 to January 30th, 2017. The bout class excludes all persons who are not residents or citizens of the United States unless the UFC paid such persons for competing in a bout fought in the United States. What that means is that a lot of the individuals that have
All right, everyone, we're back.
Yeah, we are.
We are back to preview UFC Fight Night, Thompson versus Neal, or specifically, for those who don't know what Thompson, Wonderboy versus Neal, as in Geoff Neal. This is a welterweight fight. Welterweight just contendership. I actually don't even know where these guys are ranked, honestly, since this division is so stacked. Yeah. So
I mean, I assumed everyone is ranked and no one is ranked because it's 2020.
Exactly. And before we... Oh, Jesus. Bless you. And bless you, of course. Let's get into our unofficial sponsor for this quick preview that we're going to do here. And this is a very good card, just based on the eye test here.
Totally.
So you said you would do a tiny little dab.
That was a tiny dab.
I mean, dude, I can't do that shit, so I don't know how the fuck that shit works.
But I heard you pop open some.
So this is brought to you by where I work, New English Brewing's Explorer ESB. Very solid beer.
You mean the favorite beer of the, or one of the favorite beers, I should say, of the Beer Night in San Diego podcast?
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's fucking, I've heard it's incredible. I've still never had it, actually.
I'm going to bring you some.
I was going to say, I almost ordered some today, but you guys changed your delivery distance, so I'm going to have to figure something out.
I'll just bring you some. Like, whether you want me to just drop it off, I'll just, like, literally text you and say, hey, check out your front door.
Yeah, no, we're gonna figure something out offline. We'll make that happen, but sometime this week. But, yeah, man, I heard it's an incredible ESB, and I'm a big ESB fan.
Jesus. Not many breweries. The dog just makes the funniest fucking sound. And yeah, the dog's in her dog bed this time because I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm holding the microphone like an ice cream cone for the next 30, 45 minutes.
Hey, well, at least you got the blue parts faced towards you, so it sounds okay.
Yeah, they're pretty light.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know you needed to be on ecstasy to make the sound okay, but go figure.
Yeah, right.
You just need a little bit more, what do they call it? Legion of Skanks influence in your life.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that whole
thing. Well, just because they just do ecstasy in every episode now, evidently. Or technically Molly, I guess. But
yeah, that's what the Americans like to call it. I know, there's a difference, but whatever.
Is there? Is there?
From what they tell me. I mean, the Europeans just call it ecstasy.
Yeah.
Which is what I just call it too. Anyways, we're not here to talk about ecstasy.
No, we're here to talk about the great dabs I just took. First,
explain to us, how's that going for you right now?
I just took a dab of the 710 Labs Percy Live Resin. This is the THC bomb. This is their tier 4, which is their lowest tier. However, it's fucking gorgeous. This is not going to focus. But if you look at it, that's gorgeous wax. It's super, super pretty.
I use my imagination.
Oh, God, Chris. Yeah, one of these days, here shortly, actually, I'm going to fix this problem. But all I'm saying is, everyone complains about 710 Labs having expensive wax. They have expensive wax for a reason. It's because it's the best. It's really, really, really good compared to everything else. So,
you sounded almost like a pitchman there.
Dude, honestly...
Chris Pulver here with a fantastic product. 710 Lab Wax here.
I would sell their product if they would let me. It's the best I've ever had. So.
Might have to be on a little bit of some nose beards, though, to be a pitchman. So at least that's the rumor.
Well, it's hard to pitch wax when you're on nose beers. I'm going to go ahead and guess.
Yeah.
It's a very opposite industry.
I'll go with the dark joke. I was going to say, just make sure you don't take any flights home.
It's like pitching heroin while you're on blow. It's like, it might work once, but I don't think long term that's a great plan.
Oh, no, I'm just saying don't take any flights, because then you end up like, God damn it. I was trying to make R.I.P. Billy Mays. Never mind. Yeah.
Is that the Micro Machines guy?
What's up?
Is that the Micro Machines guy?
He's the OxyClean guy.
Okay, pretty close.
Zorbies, which is like
yeah,
Oxycontin.
okay, I was pretty close.
Mighty Putty, yeah, Mighty Mendit.
Hey,
Anyways,
Chris, we're not here to talk about
he's
any of
on
this.
cocaine all the time, and he took
my
a flight
God.
home, and one of the I shouldn't be laughing, but one of the overhead luggage bins dropped a luggage thing, and the corner hit his head, and he got like a brain aneurysm because of the cocaine mixed with his head injury, killed him, and that's how he passed away.
Hey, man, there's worse ways to go than cocaine brain aneurysms while getting hit by luggage.
Well,
I feel like
at least he
that's
went out
up
like
there.
a party.
I mean, it would be real sad if he was underground when it happened, but if he was not underground when it happened, it's way better. Anyway, where were we?
Okay, I was gonna get into this first.
We're going to
fight.
talk about this actual card that's going to happen, right?
Yes. So the first
Because I
fight.
heard there's fights happening this weekend, Chris.
That is. I heard that through the grapevine. That is apparently true.
I guess I should probably make our fucking doc that we normally use for this, huh?
What's up?
I said I guess I should probably make our pick doc, huh?
Yeah. When was the last time we did that?
Dude, it's been a while.
That was kind of fun because we were actually kind of keeping track. But
Yeah, this year's the weirdest of the years. We've literally did every UFC card up until this year. And then
we'll
this
make an
year
exception
we're
for
like,
this fucked up year. So it's
well, this year we're like, fuck this shit, dude. Neither of us have the energy for every one of these.
Yeah.
So,
the
speaking
first
of
fight
which,
the night, is a men's welterweight bout between Carlton Clutch Minus going up against Christos Yagos, the Spartan, American fighter. Both of these gentlemen are American fighters. Carlton Minus, this is his second UFC appearance. His first one, last time we saw him, was just this past August 22nd.
yeah,
Excuse me.
a lot of
Where he
contender
lost-
series on this card.
Yep, where he lost a decision to Matthew Smelsberger. Christos Yagos, last time we saw him, he lost a decision to Drakkar Klose in August of 2019. Okay. He was supposed to fight Jagos was supposed to fight Alan Patrick earlier this year in April, but that was canceled. This is interesting. I don't really know where to go with this one.
I mean, here, let me get my motherfucking notes together. Since I actually do have notes on some of this shit. I mean, I don't have a lot of feels about this fight, honestly. I don't know. Minus his ortho, he used a lot of range, lateral footwork, and long straights. Shells up a ton and gets backed up a ton, especially against the cage. He circled into power a ton in his last fight. Jagos is ortho, and he gassed really hard against Close in the last fight. I think just off of strength competition, I might lean Jagos, but I don't feel great about either one of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I was kind of going to lean Jagos on this one. Yeah, I'm going to go Jagos decision.
I just think he can hang in for 3 rounds, and I think if it goes 3 rounds, he will probably win 2 of those. I mean, if you're losing to Rick Story in fucking 2018...
Yeah, it's like, it was like you might as well throw in CB Holloway.
Well, your second to last win is Justin Buchholz in 2018. It's like... In Alaska FC, shouts out to the CME's favorite.
I was gonna say CME
organization.
just mentioned.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take the other dude by finish. What's the? What's Jagos by
the
finish?
odds brought to you by Seamus. You said the odds on. You said minus by finish or Jagos by finish.
The dude who did not fight Buchholz by finish.
Yeah, so Jagos by TKO is plus 280. Or TKO KO. Jagos by submission is plus 325.
Yeah. What's just inside the distance on Jagos?
Jagos inside the distance plus 110.
Dude, that's not bad money.
And Jagos decision 180.
Yeah.
Plus 180.
I mean, really, all that feels pretty playable. But then again, I don't bet that much anymore.
If you want to bet by round,
I'll take my fucking offense.
I mean, if you want to do a round by round finish, round 1 victory is plus 275 for Jagos, round 2 is plus 475, and round 3, which is very obviously always difficult to call, It's plus 950, which you might as well just put $10 on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, probably not, but yeah.
It won't work, but it'd be fun if it lands.
You always say to bet the things that never happen, and Chris, what is your track record of betting things that never happen?
Oh, well, see, I actually don't bet. That's just me talking shit.
Well, no, you do bet, but you have a history of betting just the most notoriously bad bet.
Oh, no, that's actually my brother, and it's
You're right.
No,
I'm
my
thinking of
brother
your brother,
always,
Kyle.
he'll go like this.
Kyle, it's like
Chris,
14-man parlays.
Yeah, he'll be like, I remember ironically that one time he fucking missed it by one, and I remember like, you and I were like, wait, you took him? And then like, if you just would have taken one other guy that was so obvious, he would have won. He would have won like fucking $1,300 or like, oh,
it was like taking Wiz Carmouche over Valentina or something like that. It was really bad.
No. It was Randy Brown against someone.
Oh, Mickey Gall. I think it might have been that one.
Oh, but I remember we both felt so bad. We're like, fuck. Because he did, like, one of them that he chose was a massive upset that went his way. Like some.
Oh, no. Randy Brown, Diego Sanchez.
I think
that's what it was.
But Kyle always puts, like, $10 on a draw.
Yeah,
and I remember, like, he watched this last week. He's like, see, dude, that's how you bet the draw. I'm like,
you don't bet. That's why you don't bet the draw. I hate that shit. To be fair, though, your brother smokes a shitload of weed and likes making dumb bets. I'm pretty convinced.
I mean, yeah, he's not afraid, so...
No, he has zero fears of making dumb bets, so I love it, to be honest. It's the most fun to be around. Oh, God. Speaking of which, where are we at on this card?
So this next fight is a men's flyweight bout between...
the guy with the, he had that TV, or the movie review show for a while on HBO. Jimmy Glick, right?
Is that guy? Anyways, I'm just gonna say...
You're just gonna let me do this bad bit?
Versus Tyler Durden.
I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, don't let me do that bad bit about the Martin Short joke. Don't let me do that. I was trying to get you to shut me down on that. And he's just like, I'm not old enough. So
I know who Martin Short is. I just always associate
to be fair,
with fucking Steve Martin and like the Three Amigos and Chevy Chase.
I mean,
but that's I know he's been a bunch
equally
of
bad
stuff.
comedy, Chris. I agree.
What's up?
Equally bad comedy. I agree.
When you say
equally bad comedy, like the Three Amigos, a bad movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. And I just
it's not funny.
All right.
Although
my
I don't think
reaction was really like, all right. Like I didn't dislike it, but I was just like, it didn't do anything.
Well, to be fair, I'm that guy who not only, as I shouted out to Kyle on the fight site this week, shouted out that I think Christopher Nolan is maybe the most overrated director of all time. I think maybe the most overrated comedian.
No, he's honestly he's up there.
I've been saying this since Memento. I'm like, dude, Memento's been done way better a billion times by French directors like Gaspar Noé. But everybody's like, oh, well, but what about the tattoos, bro? And like, I have to hear about Batman fucking scenes. Like, it's legit.
I made
where it's like, oh, did he make a white dude stand on a pile of money that's on fire? Is it a gray script?
You know what? I remember it was in a film class I was at San Diego State, and I fucking made this dude so mad. I think they asked me, they said, what's one of the most overrated movies you've ever seen? I said Inception.
Wildly overrated. It's been done a billion times and better every time.
Yeah. And it's just like...
Yeah, people don't like that because...
I explained it in a very good, eloquent manner. I can't remember what I said. Maybe I do, but I just don't want to repeat it. But I remember I thought I made very good points, and the dude just wasn't having it. I'm like, all right, dude, well... Let's just not go there.
They just kept saying, you just don't get it, bro.
Pretty much. Or like, bro, what do you mean? Like, he explains the relativity of time. I'm like, but he doesn't. That's the point. It's all relative. It's either they're there or it's a time paradox, and that's the excuse.
And either way, it's lazy writing.
My wife was yelling. Like, what?
It's either way, it's very lazy writing, yeah.
I will always say this. The best Christopher Nolan movie is The Prestige. I will fucking die on that hill.
I 100% agree, and nobody even likes that one.
What's up?
I said I 100% agree, and nobody even likes that one.
You don't like that?
No one likes it. That's the one I do like. I think that's like
no. I thought you said no one likes that.
that's the one no one references as being good, but
That's
the one I
it's
would
the best
enjoy.
one. I mean, the popular one is the Dark Knight. You know?
Yeah, but like that's also because idiots like glossy shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, let's not talk about.
yeah. We went so off rails.
Yeah, we got
everybody go watch Irreversible, but don't watch Oh shit, Chris, you never watched the fucking you never watched Irreversible, did you?
Not yet.
Oh my god. You know what? Maybe on our year-end recap, we'll have to have you recap that movie.
I remember you told me to watch it sober, right?
I believe Phil dropped in chat and said yes. Well, no, I'm saying unless you want it to be burned into your psyche, I would suggest sober.
Dude, like I said before, my what's left of what's in my head right now is already so fucked up. I don't give a shit.
All
so
right,
I will watch it as high as I want. I just don't give a fuck. I truly don't care.
I love it. Hey, well then on that note, we will. I promise you right now, you guys, we will on our year-end recap show. Chris will sum it up at the very end with his thoughts on the movie Irreversible. That's
I already know I'm gonna say it was fucked up. And very
I know it will be.
I anticipate that.
But that's gonna be our sign-off words. Are gonna be your thoughts on that movie, and I'm very excited for it. Anyway, did we talk about how Jimmy Flick is probably gonna lose to Cody Durden because Cody Durden can wrestle?
Jimmy A Bug's Life Flick is going to lose to Tyler Durden.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're on the second fight. We're fucked. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Tyler Durden's going to win by shooting himself in the mouth.
Oh, Jesus.
Remind me of the bad
I got aggressive quick. That's how you sound like me, sir. Wait,
I'm not a mess. All right.
So, do we both have Jagos in that last one?
Yeah, I have him by decision.
Yeah, I've got Cody Durden via decision via wrestling. Mostly because
Tyler Durden's gonna win. He's going to smash Flick from A Bug's Life.
I just don't think that Jimmy Flick can consistently keep scrambles going enough. Although Jimmy Flick does have some wild ass grappling ability, and he's gonna make shit awkward as hell.
All right, moving on. We have another fighter from Cameroon, or another fighter that's not Francis Ngannou. This is cool.
Yeah.
We got Stephane Nchukwi.
Sure,
probably.
I'm gonna let you do that.
Who's 4-0, going up against American fighter Jamie Nightwolf Pickett. Definitely related to Brad Pickett.
Yeah, definitely.
Stephane Nchukwi, last time we saw him, was there not even there it is. I actually had to scroll down and say, wait, where's his, fight record? He's Contender Series, another Contender Series guy. Won his fight against Al Monteveo via head kick in the middle of the second round last September 8th.
Yep, sure did.
Fashion.
Against a dude who looked like he was set up to get absolutely smashed by homie.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is...
That's the fight business for you.
Well, it's also the Contender Series business as of the last 4 Contender Series seasons. To be fair, his opponent, same exact situation.
I was going to say, if the guy wasn't such a piece of shit, the good sponsor for it would be MyPillow, but for a Contender Series. But anyways, Jamie Pickett, also Contender Series, and also destroyed his opponent, this time 33 seconds into the second round. Yeah, this should be chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say that Jamie Pickett does not have a Team Lloyd Irvin badge on his fucking Tapology page. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jamie Pickett via KO in the first, via prayers from me.
Oh, God.
I mean,
it's just
you
just have
I just
to
need good things
sigh.
at the end of 2021. You know, I'm praying for good things at the end of 2021. Right. That's what I'm cheering for.
I didn't even do the odds for.
To be fair, I think Nchukwu Chukwi is very, very, very green from the 19 seconds of footage I was able to see on him. Pickett seems like he can probably fight. So, I don't know, man. Like, this is probably some Contender Series mashing toys together type shit. And I'm going to go with the guy who doesn't have a Lloyd or Irvin attachment.
Yeah, I agree. No hesitation for me there. The odds, I don't give a fuck. I am going for Jamie Pickett via knockout. All right.
Beautiful.
Next up, we have women's fight bout between Jillian Robertson, the Savage, Canadian fighter, going up against Brazilian fighter Tayla Santos. This should be a fun fight. I know Jillian Robertson trains under Dean Thomas at ATT in Florida.
Yep.
Last time we saw Jillian Robinson, she won a decision against Polyana Botello. Excuse me. Polyana Bottles.
Yeah,
not
Poly Bottles.
Poly Bottles, not Polyana Marijuana. Our other favorite Polyana.
Dude, except she won't even accept that name anymore, and it makes me
I know,
so sad.
I know. Tayla Santos, last time we saw
Miss
her.
Mota, R.I.P.
Yeah. Tayla Santos won a decision over Molly
Super
McCann.
big. Yeah, it's a big win.
Was a big win.
mean,
yeah, this is a tough test,
relatively.
I think, for both fighters. Probably more or less, I guess, for Robertson, just because. I don't know.
I would say the other way. I
yeah,
think Robertson
yeah,
has
because Robertson
had
has
much
two more
higher level
impressive wins.
Yeah.
Nothing to take away from Meatball McCann. She's a badass, and she was undefeated.
No, but like that is the most.
Angeli Robinson has a
Yeah.
win over McCann.
It's a very preferable matchup, the Molly McCann fight. Like, and if you're losing a grappling, or if you're losing a split decision to Romero Barella, I think you're gonna get probably your back taken and subbed by Joey Robertson.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, Mara Barella, who's scrappy and pretty versed in.
I mean,
not-
we're big.
in-
We're
Yeah,
big,
she-
yeah. Mary
she's not
Bottles
nearly as
fans.
good as Robertson in grappling, which is why I'm taking Robertson in a submission victory. I can't even fucking talk.
Yeah, I'm probably taking her. Well, actually, so here's the thing, though. She's been saying that she wants some damage on the feet. I think we're gonna see. I think a club and sub probably, but like maybe not on the feet. But we're gonna see her smash on the ground and then get the sub. I think. I would assume.
Like it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go a similar route. I'm just gonna get. I'd say a finish in probably like middle round, second
Yeah, I
round.
would say probably.
The odds,
sub
by the way, are
second.
dead even.
I can see that. I think it's a big step up for Jillian Robertson. I just think a lot of her game, especially since she's working so close to the Dean Thomas right now, I just think Tayla Santos is like it's going to be a very tall order for her to be able to keep the pace over 3 rounds at least right now.
Next up is the men's middleweight bout, and I always refuse to believe this dude is the same height as me. He looks like a meatball or a bulldog, whatever you want to call it. Dude's very
to
stout
be fair,
and athletic.
he has what 80 pounds on you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait, no,
Let's
not
see.
actually.
Oh,
What
when
does
he cuts.
Oh wait, they came in at 195, so somebody came in thick.
So that's about. I'm about
Who came in at
145.
195? Who came in fat for this?
Oh, that was him. That was Deron Wynn.
Jerome Wynn blue weight?
Yeah, big time.
Dude. Okay, so the dude the same height as you came in at 195?
Yeah.
Chris, how far off from 185 are you right now?
I'm 40 pounds exactly off.
and let me guess, you've not worked out in a while.
Fuck no, dude.
and you're coming off Thanksgiving.
Oh no, if I'm in if I'm in actual shape, I usually fluctuate around the same weight. If I was like exercising and shit, I'm probably bouncing around 135, 140.
No,
but that's
I
what
know.
I'm like.
I just find it fun.
Oh no, yeah, I know, but I'm not out of shape right now. I'm just not like I haven't been exercising, and yeah, no, it's fucking COVID, bro. You think I'm not gonna
Hey,
drink all
dude.
this beer all the time, dude?
I was gonna say, don't make me fucking truffle shuffle on this motherfucker. I ain't in no type of shape. Don't get me wrong. That's all I'm talking about.
You're in chunk shape then, right?
Yeah, I'm in real chalk shape. Yeah, I'm in proper beer weight.
Well, you said truffle show. Oh, wasn't that the Goonies? Is that why I said chunk, or am I just too fucking dumb right now?
I mean, I
Alright.
combined like 14 references in the last
Okay.
2 seconds. So yeah, that's how I tend to do things. I just smear them all together and see who
So,
figures out what.
Deron Wynn, I was about to say he's lost 3 in a row, but it looks like he lost a
he's
wrestling
gonna win this
bout.
fight though, right? Because the dude he's fighting first off hasn't fought since November of 2019, and then that was a loss, and then before that it was a dude in Contender Series, and then before that it was a dude in Contender Series.
They're setting up a win definitely for Deron Wynn. Wynn should win.
I would think. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Wow, the height! Holy fuck, dude, the height advantage, Jesus.
oh, he's 6'3". Whoa,
Damn.
he's got 8 inches of height.
I mean, he's still gonna probably get wrestle fucked by.
I think he's 100% gonna get wrestle fucked. That's why I don't trust it. But what are the odds Deron Wynn just gets all in the side of the head because the dude's from Albuquerque right now?
Yeah, let's see here.
be fair.
The odds brought to you by Seamus. So you want to say Arroyo by TKO then? What are those
No,
odds?
I got Wynn by decision, but I'd love to see what Arroyo by TKO.
Arroyo by TKO is plus 380.
That's not bad. What's TKO in the first?
In the first. Okay. Arroyo by TKO round 1 plus 7 hundo.
That's not bad, dude.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Like, just off of length, and the odds are
Yeah.
Deron Wynn's going to go for a head outside single. Like,
Yep.
I would put money on that almost.
What's
So,
win by decision?
I don't
Plus
know.
265.
That being said, this next fight, I'm so mad at every single podcaster who doesn't know who Panicky and Sad is at this point, because I've heard fucking multiple people, including Jack Goddamn Slack, say, I don't know who this lady is. You're like, you don't know who Panicky and Zad is by 2020? I think she was on Tough in 2015. She's fought 4 times in the UFC, right?
Yeah, her last fight
Or
coming up
3.
against a win against perennial contender at 135, Betch Correa.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, to be fair, and she fucked Betch up though. If you remember that fight, she checked hooked.
Oh, I remember.
Betch to
This is
death
it.
in that
It was
fight.
the
Yeah.
blocks, the 10-second blocks, and Betch Correa just starts walking.
Yeah. And Patty blasts her in the face, 100%. And also, Patty check hooked her to death in that fight. All fucking day. It was gorgeous.
That's still one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I remember
Dude,
just
yeah.
watching that on TV. I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?"
Yeah, Betch just is like, just didn't hear it. Fucking shouts to Penny Cans out. No, I'm a big Penny Cans out fan. I actually have been since before Tough, since her and Victor run. She had the fights against. She had the really close fight with Sarah Coffin, and she had the loss to Sarah Canuto, and then she came back and went on that win over Bianca. And then she went into the Tough House and got fucking back-to-back wins over Katrina Lenner, Soldarenko, who went on to have a wild fucking fight in Invicta. That was one of the bloodiest fights of the year last year. And then she only lost to Macy Chasson, which she put on the cage, was already starting to wrestle fucker, and then just kind of had trouble keeping the pace and got fucked up. But Panicky and Zod, people sleep on. Like, when your losses are Tanya Evinger, Sarah Kaufman, Macy Chasson, and then randomly Raquel Canuto, like, that's not a bad list, dude. That is.
Yeah, no.
Those are. And Yulia Vila, like, those are very high level fighters. So, I absolutely think she is gonna be a fucking problem for Sarge. The big question in this fight is, can Sarge get this fight to the ground? Because if she can, she's gonna dominate. But if she at all had trouble closing distance, she's gonna get boxed the fuck up off the jab and the lead hook. I'm telling you right the fuck now. Penny has a really sharp jab, really sharp.
I
lead
think
hand,
I'm gonna
and a
take
solid
even though
strike.
I liked how Sarge looked in her fight against Ketlin Vieira, who's very tough. I think I got Cans out in this one.
I do too. The only thing is, Kanzan is very wrestleable. I just don't have enough confidence in Sarge to work a grappling game that consistently over time to be able to force that over rounds enough. Because I don't think she's going to be able to keep her down off the first takedown. And I think the more Sarge has to work that game, the harder it's going to get for her. And Penny has started to get really good at working a long outside, like counter kickboxing, or especially counter boxing games. So, yeah, I'm going to leave Penny, but like, if Sarge gets her down in the first 2 minutes, she's fucked. Let me put it that way.
The odds brought to you by Seamus. You got Eubanks at a minus 164 to a plus 136. Take that as you will. This next matchup.
Wait. Sarge is the underdog?
So she's a favorite.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I would expect Sarge to be the favorite because she's way more well known, but I think that's a fool's errand. It kind of comes down to whether if Penny stuffs takedowns, she's fucked. Anyway, this next fight's weird. And I don't know what to make of it. This is like if this very much has Pettis versus fucking Lozon vibes, right?
Yeah.
Every Alex Morono fight very much has Joe Lozon vibes to it.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this fight. I fucking actually have no idea what to really think of this.
Well, Morono's just so do or die to me. Like, I don't know if it's just his build and the way he takes damage.
I think I'm gonna take Pettis.
I mean, I don't doubt you for it. I think it's probably the smart play of the two. I just don't think I can do that.
No.
I don't know, man. Like, what was Pettis? Pettis' last one was who?
Cowboy.
Exactly. The Cowboys look like well, Cowboys not great since when? Like, Cowboy hasn't looked great in a long time, right?
Yeah.
And my problem is, like, Alex Morono fighting out of Fortis, which is really the biggest point I have behind it, as one loss.
Point. That's a very good point.
Is via crazy shit to Chaos Williams, which, like, I mean, how do you even qualify that? And then before that, if it's decisions to dudes like Jordan Mean and Kita Nakamura back in 2017 and 2018, which was like forever ago. Especially after coming off the win over Reese McKee, I think this is absolutely Alex Morono's fight to win, and not only win, but dominate clearly. I don't know that he's going to get a finish. I think it'll probably be a decision, but I think he's going to fucking absolutely put Anthony Pettis on the fence and just punish him.
That being said, I think I'll stick to my guns. I got Pettis by decision. It's probably going to be a dumb fight.
No, to be fair, I think it's going to decision either way. So, and Pettis is very good at winning weird decisions. So,
I mean, yeah, his Cowboy fight was close as fuck, and they gave him that.
A lot of his fights were, yeah.
Odds are minus 233 in favor for Pettis to plus 188. This next fight is at men's bantamweight between Marlon Moraes and Rob Font.
Oh, I'm so glad you did the thing you did just now.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you don't even have to say anymore. This fight...
I didn't even notice it. I got so sad for a second, and now I'm so happy
I'm not
again.
going to do that to you. Anyways...
I love you, buddy. Keep going.
Yeah, dude, it's all good.
You're the
yeah, we got
best.
One Punch Man. Krillin is back.
That's
whatever
right.
you want to call him.
It's good times again.
Yeah, he's looked like Krillin in his last fight, but that's
This
okay,
is an awesome fight, by the way.
Yeah, this is really fucking
Just
good,
like cool
man.
matchmaking, yeah. This is a great card.
Actually, dude, I have tomorrow off. It's my first Saturday off in fucking months. This is great.
Hell yeah.
No, sorry, I wish it was a pay-per-view tomorrow. Fuck.
Dude,
You know,
honestly,
it
this
doesn't
is almost better than some of the pay-per-views.
This is actually the
Putting
first
on,
time in a
so-
long time I get to watch the entire fucking
Yeah,
card. I'm
no,
not
this
even
is
kidding. It's been months since I've been able to catch like any early card.
This is a beautiful one to do it for. Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah.
We might have to
Oh, yeah.
do some. All right. So Marlon Moraes coming off the loss to Corey Sandhagen via wheel kick. However, fucking Jesus Christ, Corey Sandhagen in that fight. Right?
That dude is just ready. That's all I could say. You could tell he was just kind of really just like bummed in the way he lost to Aljo and not
The way
not
he
taking
came
anything
back
from
after
Aljo.
that shit is devastating. I
Yeah,
can't believe Marlon's
it's
already
gonna be
fighting
trifle
again.
death.
Yo,
And
it's-
unfortunately,
it's
did you
barely
see who
been 2
Sandhagen's
months.
fighting?
Dude, it's barely been 2 months since he got knocked out.
Yeah, that's actually kind of scary.
That's really,
and also,
really bad.
by the way, well, you know who his fucking manager is, so it doesn't surprise me. Anyways,
Yeah, let me guess. Is it a fuckboy who just recently, his friend got indicted for killing homosexuals?
yeah, terrorist snitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that guy. He's
Fuck
friends with-
Ali Abdelaziz and fuck everyone associated with him.
Anyways,
I
speaking of
love
another
Muhammad
client
Ali, who was
of
gonna
Abdullah
fight-
Sleeves, did you see
Yeah.
who Sandhagen is unfortunately fighting? Good old Frankie Edgar. One of the pound-for-pound greats of the
Well,
sport.
of course, because how else are they going to get him a title shot?
Yeah. See, I wanted Dominic Cruz versus Frankie, like a lot of others did, but you're getting Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny, which still could be a fun fight. Don't get me wrong. Casey Kenny is very scrappy.
Yeah, fun for who? Not for San Diego fans. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's-
Yeah, Dominic
that's-
Cruz is pretty much done.
It's gonna be
especially-
brutal watching
I mean,
an Arizona
especially
kid
if
beat
you're-
beat up a San
if
Diego
you're-
kid who moved to Arizona.
What's up?
So it's gonna be depressing watching a new Arizona kid beat up an old Arizona kid from San Diego.
That, and if you're Dominic Cruz, just make sure, you're not having someone who's an alcoholic and chain smoker, calling the fight or reffing the fight, and then you'll be good. But
Well, to be fair, I don't think he did the first time.
what's up?
I said to be fair, I don't think he did the first time. That dude's no nonsense.
Oh no, I know. That's one of the still to this day one of the most ridiculous things.
One of
I've
the
ever heard
saddest
anybody
things I've
say.
ever heard,
It's
yeah.
really pathetic. It's
So
absolutely
great.
pathetic and fucking stupid as shit. Yeah. Anyways, Marlon Moraes is fighting against Rob Font, who's fighting out of the New England Cartel in fucking Boston, dude. This could be scrappy as shit.
Super scrappy.
I think I'm gonna go with Moraes, but this is gonna be. They're both gonna be game. It's both gonna be back and forth. Should be a war.
Yeah. Man.
But it's 2 months after Moraes got knocked out, though.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, it's.
Yeah,
been
I got
too-
Rob Font.
I got Rob Font because it's been too soon. I got Rob Font actually.
Too soon.
Or wait, sorry, I got Wait, oh my god. No, yeah. No, I got Rob Font. You can't go into a fucking fight with that much damage that recently. It's so irresponsible. Trevor Whitman is his fucking coach, which is most right, isn't? Corey Sandhagen trains out of fucking.
Are you talking about? Wait, which fight are you talking about right now?
Or not, sorry, not Corey Sandhagen, you're right. Sorry, I got mixed up. Because I was looking at Corey Sandhagen's name when I said that.
Okay.
No, Marlon Moraes fights out of he's at ACT right now, right?
Yes, he changed camps like early this
They're
year.
letting him turn around in 2 months?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like-
That's an Ali thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's it is, man. You know what? You nailed it. That's 100% an Ali thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's such a desperate money grab in the grossest way. And also, how many Ali Abdelaziz clients have fought this year?
I don't even know, but a lot.
I mean, a couple, but not as many as normal. I mean, he did have Gaethje, he did have a couple, but not as many as
Frank
normal.
Edgar
He didn't have
Cody Garbrandt fought. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he knocked out Sunset. It was super impressive. It was
Yeah.
like at the last minute.
Cejudo didn't though. His big money, a lot of his big money makers didn't.
You said did or did not? Because Cejudo fought early this year.
Yeah, but Cejudo fought once.
Yeah. I see what you
In
mean.
this
A
period.
lot of fighters didn't fight.
A lot
frequently.
of I'm saying a
Yeah.
lot of his fighters stopped fighting after about
Yeah.
2 months into this year, and yeah, I think that might be part of this. But yeah, I got Rob Font via Ali Abdelaziz fucking his fighters.
Yep.
But
that's
probably
sad.
That's probably just me being hella fucking.
Anyways, yeah, the odds brought to you by Seamus. You got Marias at a -1, call it 155 to a +130 of Rob Font.
Interesting. I don't hate those odds. I think they're very, very playable, though.
Yeah. By the way, this fight is just the shit-eating wild man matchup. Also, how old was, even though you probably looked, would you say Michel Pereira is? By looking at him.
Oh, he's old as shit. He's been, he's like 35? 36?
Yeah, guess what his age is listed, and there's no way it's right here on Tapology.
Huh.
So I'd guess he's about 36, 37. It says he is 27 years old.
That could be possible, but like
he's just a very old 27-year-old.
No, I thought he was like 37.
I know it. That's what I'm saying, but it says he's 27. There's no way that's right.
I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know about all that.
I don't know. He just looks old as shit.
It's possible. I don't. Off the top of my head, here.
It'd be more believable for you to tell me that Yoel Romero is 33.
I mean, his wiki says he is born in 93, 27.
Well, then you know what? Maybe it's because he grew up in the mean streets of Rio. So I don't blame him for aging a little bit faster.
Possible. To be fair.
Anyways, that's
how is it possible that I looked older than him when I was 17?
And how is it possible that I still look like I am 19, 20 years old?
Then again, I look like I'm 40 and I'm barely 30. So, you know.
And I look like I'm 20 and I'm about to be 30. So go figure.
Yeah, well, to be fair,
time is relative.
When I was 14, calling girls' houses, people would be like, whose
dad is this?
No, they literally, because I had too much bass in my voice, they'd be like, how do you know my daughter? I'm like, I'm in her class. Like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, I mean, literally.
Are you the math teacher?
I'm like, call her teacher. I have a fucking project after have her answer fucking questions on. Don't be an asshole. To be fair, they did own a strip club, the people I was calling. So, I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. San Diego's a weird place.
What do you think of this fight?
I think it's very weird matchmaking.
Yeah. And what's the over-under on flips or backhand springs?
Dude, less than you think, because Chaos Williams is too flashy to where Michel Pereira, I think, is going to play a very boring game and mostly feint. I think this is actually going to suck, to be honest, in a very real way, because both these dudes are kind of counter-strikers. And they're very explosive counter-strikers, so you're going to see a lot of whiffing in this fight, I would imagine.
Yeah, I got Chaos Williams by decision, and it's just going to be Pereira just, like, running around like a goofball, and then it's like, what are we doing kind of fight.
See, I think it could be either one of them getting that shitty decision. Like, I think literally this fight might come down to leg kicks.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was Pereira that came out last time and threw leg kicks against who was it? Zaleem, right? And that's how he got that fight up until he choked him. I mean, I know that's how he fucked up Diego Sanchez. And Chaos Williams, honestly, has just been getting meme KOs. Which, like, unless you are going to let him, I feel.
Yeah, dude, his last 3 fights.
It's so dumb to pick.
First round knockouts. Oh no, or his last. Excuse me. 3 of his last 4 have been a knockout in under 30 seconds of the very first round. Yeah. Very crazy and insanely consistent.
I'm gonna take Pereira because I don't pick meme KO artists.
Yeah. Because that's more based on just kind of chance.
Well, it's just I have zero faith that. Or let me put it this way: I have 95% faith that Pereira, who's been working a much more consistent, just straightforward MMA game towards winning rounds, is going to have way more success than the dude who's just looking for meme KOs every time. Which Chaos Williams has been set up to get meme KOs every time. honestly, I think Chaos Williams might gas towards the middle of the second and then get KO'd in the third by Pereira, who's like still has enough energy to throw absolute trash at him and fuck him up. What did you have for the method on that?
Yeah, you brought up a good point. I'll stick to my guns. I'll go chaos via shitty decision.
Dude, you could totally be right on that, though, to be fair, also, because Michelle Pineda
I just think
has
Pereira's
shown...
just going to be doing flips and just running away and trying to do Superman punches
Well, that's
off
the other
cage.
thing, is, like, he's also shown a propensity to just absolutely have zero idea what he's doing sometimes. And like,
I think that's how it's going to be. He's
I'm
like,
just
what do I
being-
do? I don't want to get in close and get bopped in the face. Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run around and try to pick him apart.
That's the
and
thing
then,
is,
fuck it,
yeah.
I will just do a front flip on him, even though he's still standing.
Yeah, if he does
Just
get
fuck.
clipped, I think it's going to get real scary
Yeah.
real quick.
I could also see Chaos Williams be a ground and pound TKO.
Oh, for sure. No, like, if Chaos Williams connects, I think Pineda is fucked. I just think Pineda in his last couple of outings has looked like a different fighter. He's actually looked like he's fighting with intention rather than just fighting for fighting.
Well, the funny thing, I saw Sports Center. It said check out some of these wild clips, and that showed Pereira doing front flips or jumping on someone.
I'm
and then
sure
someone comments, of course, casuals or someone's like, "Wow, that's awesome! What a cool guy." Someone said, "Who is this fucking moron?" You know, you just get totally two different reactions.
To be fair, they're both right.
Yeah.
They're both very
What a cool moron!
Yeah, he is a cool moron. Honestly, we could say that about a lot of the sport. Let's keep on moving on.
Minus Diego Sanchez at this point. Anyway,
on to maybe the greatest in the sport of all time, both person and just fucking ability wise. We got Jose Aldo fighting Marlon Chito Vera in
this is
a fucking incredible matchup.
I've been going back and forth on this one.
Me too.
So last time we saw Jose Aldo, he was in a very competitive title fight against Piotr Jan, the now UFC undisputed bantamweight
to be fair,
champion.
it was competitive for like 3 rounds, and then Jason Herzog
it's kind of
decided to kill the entire world's enthusiasm for this division.
Yeah.
It was so sad, and it makes me so sad to this day. That's one of the worst beatings I've ever seen in my life.
God, I forgot how young. Well, Jose Aldo's still young for how long he's been fighting, but I forgot how young
Yeah.
Chito is too.
They're both super young.
Fuck, dude. Oh God. This is a 3-round fight. I think I'm taking Aldo on this one. It's 3 rounds. And
Yep.
I think his jab to the body is going to really disrupt Canadera.
That's an interesting take. I didn't see jab to the body being a factor. I can see it though. Just body work
Or
in
if
general.
it's not a jab to the body, he'll do an outside leg kick and then he'll kind of like glide or
He doesn't really
sidestep,
throw.
and he does that.
doesn't
You know
really
that
throw kicks
violent.
that much though.
You know that violent body hook that
He
or
does throw
body
nasty, yeah.
uppercut.
Yeah.
That's that body uppercut, the one that he killed Stevens with.
Yeah,
He's gonna try to
the lead uppercut to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
And I have it by decision because Cheetah's so goddamn tough.
That's the thing is, he has to either finish Cheeto in the first round or he's going to drop the third round. And that's where it gets really tricky in picking this fight because normally if you told me Jose Aldo 3-rounder, I would say Jose Aldo wins the 3-rounder. She'll look awesome for 2 rounds, and he's probably going to drop the third. But with a guy like Chito Vera who comes on so fucking strong in the third, and a guy who likes to throw a lot of like step in knees and just like wild volume, I think it could definitely cause a little bit of issues for a dude like Jose. Just because a dude with classically trained and very, very, very slick defense, you figure the more volume you throw at him, the harder it makes that defense, right? But yeah, I just think 3-rounder is inherently part of Jose Aldo's game. If it was a 5-rounder, I think Cheeto would absolutely take this. But over 3, I think Jose takes the first 2 and maybe drops the third. The only thing that I could see that would be kind of crazy is how the first round goes. Because, I don't know, Cheeto is also the kind of wild man who might just go out and try and fuck Jose up bad in the first round and throw wild shit. And that could go really good or really bad very quickly. And it all kind of depends on whether they're both playing counter games, whether they're both playing offensive games. Either way, I think this is one of the coolest match fights that we've seen in the UFC in a long time, and I think it's going to be fucking fascinating when we see it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely hyped for this fight. Selfishly, if I'm being subjective, I hope Vero wins. I love Cheeto a lot. Aldo's already a legend in the sport. He's already one of the GOATs. He has nothing else left to prove, especially at this weight class.
In my
opinion, a win would be fun for him, but it also doesn't.
Easy.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for him even if he wins.
No, but like other than just cement how goddamn dominant that dude has been for decades.
The odds brought to you. I see. My pick is Aldo by decision. The odds by Sheamus have Aldo at a minus 154 to a plus 125.
That seems kind of favorable for Aldo in a way that I'm pretty surprised about.
And then
he has to do so many things right for that to win that fight.
Yeah, and then lastly, this brings us to we're getting right underneath an hour if we can. Doesn't really matter.
It really
main
is.
event of the evening is an interesting one stylistically. You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I didn't realize it's almost 38 in a couple months. Going up against Jeff Hands of Steel Neal.
Yeah. Who, by the way, did we talk about the UFC podcast about how they just spent a whole ass time talking about how one of their main fighters on this card still works a regular job, and that was a bragging point for them?
Yep.
What fucking sport who respects themselves would do that shit?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Why would the NBA be like, oh, by the way, this guy in this main event that everyone's gonna tune in for, he works a day job as a waiter if you want to go visit him.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Imagine like
Lamar
novelty.
Jackson, the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, who was an MVP last year. Yeah. Lamar just showed up right before the end of halftime. You just got done at P.F. Chang's.
They wouldn't even do that shit for their kicker.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, yo, the kicker has a real job. He's a kicker.
Yeah.
It's fucking embarrassing, dude. They're like, oh, well, you want to go visit Geoff Neal at his job? Go check out Geoff Neal's job. They literally named the restaurant he works at in that thing, which is also problematic.
Yeah. I'm Forrest Griffin, and try out the pineapple basil margarita.
Yo, that's a real thing. Oh my god, I'm so glad you said that out loud. I didn't want to play that clip because I didn't want to do that ad. But yes, 100%. He literally shouted out a drink on the menu to order. Like it's a fucking diner, drives, and dives.
I'm like, dude, fuck you.
Dude, it's fuckboys, fuckers, and the other F's.
Anyways, I don't really have much to say in this. It either goes one of two ways. I think either Geoff Neal just kind of goes all blaze of glory, blitzes in, and knocks out Wonderboy in the first 2 rounds, or he doesn't get styled on, I think he just gets absolutely styled on by Wonderboy because the timing's just off, and Wonderboy just picks him apart.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Luque fight. I don't know.
I 100% agree. I think
if I'm a
it has
betting
to only
man,
go one way, right?
I think I'm going Wonderboy. Neal hasn't fought someone that's at least of this caliber yet, and that's fine because he's still early in his career. The Mike Perry win is impressive in that Perry's very durable, and he finished him in the first round. Also has wins over Nike Pierce and Bilal Muhammad. Yeah. I still got Wonderboy, but
Yeah,
If Geoff Neal knocks him out, wouldn't surprise me. That dude hits hard as fuck.
for sure. And especially if like he's able to same time counter Wonderboy. I think that's the secret to finishing Wonderboy is either you have to catch same time counter, or you have to chop him down with leg kicks, or you have to pressure him against the cage, chop him down with leg kicks and work the body. And then you can lead to a KO. I think that's been proven pretty consistently over time. It's extremely hard to do. Almost no one can do it. I mean, even Masvidal, who's some of the best at pressuring dudes against cage, working body shots and leg kicks, had wild trouble up until the later rounds until he figured that out. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is notoriously tough to deal with because of the way he's able to be so slick with his direction changes with his lead leg switches that it makes it very difficult to see where he's going. So I think it's a very, very tall order for Geoff Neal. The only thing I do know that Geoff Neal has going for him is he is out of Fortis. So Geoff Neal has game planned a couple things. Actually, shit. Geoff Neal's out of Fortis. Shit, I think I'm taking Geoff Neal now.
Oh, he's at Fortis, huh? Oh, shit.
Yeah, that totally changed my take. Fuck. I know Saud is going to get him to walk forward, pressure behind straights, and throw calf kicks. And that's how you beat Stephen Thompson. Very, very, very strictly. Like, that's the game plan.
Especially pointed out.
Especially with body work.
By the way, the odds are... Now I think about it, now that you made that point, these odds make a lot more sense now. They are dead even. Literally even. All across the board.
As soon as I remember Geoff... So here's the only thing. Geoff Neal was in an ICU for liver failure and a bunch of shit like 4 months ago. So...
That's crazy.
That is the other thing that we're talking about right now, and that is why I'm still going to take Stephen Thompson by decision. But if Geoff Neal is in any kind of decent shape and can go 3 rounds, I think he kickboxes the face off of Stephen Thompson with leg kicks and pressure.
I like that.
I really do. I think he's going to be a fucking problem for him. The only problem is I don't have the faith that Geoff Neal isn't completely compromised to the body, and if you are, you're fucked against Stephen Thompson. Because, like, you can't be in severe liver failure and shit, and, like, I think he was on dialysis 4 months ago.
That's just nuts.
Yeah, so you can't...
Put that in perspective.
Yeah, well, you can't take damage to your body 4 months after being on dialysis. Or at least, I can't bet on you to take damage on your body 4 months after dialysis if you're fighting a dude like Wonderboy who's great at working the body.
Yeah.
So.
Either way, by the way, not breaking news, but the UFC is trying to book Paulo Costa against Robert Whittaker for just a fight in March, I think a main event. However, Costa's manager, Waleed, whatever the fuck his last name is.
Who's
that fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He says, no, this isn't happening unless it's for an interim title. It's like, fuck you.
Well, and also, to be fair...
It sells pay-per-views, I get it.
Well, Ismael is like, you should just ignore whatever that dude says. Also, you should ignore whatever he translates. Because he just lies, as we've seen on
he's an idiot. That guy's
camera a bunch of times. I've asked Brazilians. You guys, if you look at our Twitter, I've asked Brazilians after translations, be like, is that at all even close? Because that seems. I know a little bit of Spanish, and that seems wrong. And they're like, no, he just made up stuff after like 10 seconds in.
Another thing I saw is, of course, you know how there's always just the fun memes with like Brendan Schaub. Someone is calling him on Reddit brain dumb schlab.
I mean, that's just regular ass Reddit, though.
Yeah, brain dumb schlab. That's pretty good.
I mean, checks out.
And I also just realized, I think in January we are also getting I think it's the week before McGregor and Poirier 2. I still can't believe we're getting Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, dude.
Oh, that's right.
What a fight.
That's awesome.
And you know what? As much as I like Max, I kind of like Kattar as the underdog in that.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I don't know.
That fight is going to be a boxing
That's a fight I will go back and forth. Nope. Because Max is smart enough to throw leg kicks.
Yeah, that's
but so is Calvin.
And Calvin has decent wrestling, but Max has great team.
I think a lot of that fight's gonna come down to leg kicks. I think that's gonna be very interesting. Yeah, man, it'll be interesting either way though. But
yeah, because the next pay per view, it'll be the biggest of the year, most likely, or at least we'll see. Is Conor and Dustin 2. I'm trying to remember who else is on that card. I think the rumor is that they're supposed to announce. I mean, they have to do it soon. I think Michael Chandler will be fighting Dan Hooker. What I saw.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I believe.
I'm curious to see how that shit plays out. Yeah.
I saw there was a clause in his contract that needs to fight a top 5, which in that case I saw he might be fighting Justin Gaethje. So who knows?
I mean, either way, those would be fun. But those sound like, based on how the UFC's business practice works recently, those sound like fight night cards that happen around the UFC actual big pay-per-view, because they can make money off those and they would not.
Yeah, because why would they put that on the same card?
Yeah, because they already get a basic amount of pay-per-view revenue from fucking ESPN, and this is why the sport sucks nowadays. Yep.
Yeah, why not make a badass pay-per-view card when you could take the amazing fights that could have been on pay-per-view card and put...
Chris, you're phrasing that wrong. Why help the sport when we can make money, is your point.
Yeah.
That's your point. So on that note, everybody, I think that's a good place to wrap it. We love you. Unlike Dana White and the fucking... in UFC or the failed endeavor IPO, as Eugene Robinson and the kids would say, or the kids. We love you. It's been a crazy episode. Chris, you got anything to tag on to this motherfucker before we get out of here? I feel like it's been a wild one.
I think today was the day that Saturn and Jupiter were basically almost one planet as far as distance together.
They fuck?
That's the rumor, because I did So, my dad, who's at his house in Julian, you could just see more of the stars because you're not in the city.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture. It looked pretty neat. It was just a giant, fucking just bright-ass light in the sky. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, I wish I was on mushrooms, and then I go out to Julian and then look at that. Then it'd be fun. Either way, yeah. So apparently, if you were a stargazer or like to use your telescope, or the fuck
whoa, easy with that kind of phrasing. You don't want to be out here calling people stargazers all willy-nilly.
Oh, is that like not PC?
I'm fucking with you.
I was like, what? Either way, be a stargazer in that case.
Hey.
Use a big old honking telescope. And, look at some good, cool shit. Well, under the influence, or if it's cool being sober too, do that as well.
Yeah, well, it's not, but you can do that too.
It's Matthew McConaughey. It'd be pretty cool if you did.
Yeah, it's not cool to be sober. It's just not cool if you're sober. You know what I mean?
It'd be cooler if you weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at stars while on shrooms.
Hey, all I'm saying is I've seen plenty of skies. They're not as good as when they're on edibles. That's all I'm saying.
Touche.
On that note, y'all, I feel like this is a great place to wrap it, Chris. I don't know about you. Since we're just talking about how skies are pretty at this point. We're on drugs. So, anything you want to plug this week before we get...
You know what Brendan Shaw would say?
Yeah, he'd probably say something about defending his friends who fuck kids, is probably what he'd say.
Well, unfortunately, he'd probably say some fucked up shit like that. But if he was trying to act cool or try to pretend he's in the same reference, he'd be like, you talking about Joshua Tree?
Right. I'm sorry, Tom out is the reference, not the his friend fucking kids part being the reference. All right. Well,
Also upsetting.
on that note, I mean, to be fair, it's, one would argue one is more relevant, but we're out of here nonetheless. Chris, got any tags on this bitch before we get out of here?
Yeah, so the Cyberpunk game hasn't really had any issues for me. And
Well, to be fair, it's you say what you're playing it on.
on the Xbox One X, so the one that's before the one that just came out.
Right, so you're on like the higher end, like you're
I'm on the
essentially-
high-end Xbox, that's not the new
Yeah.
one. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a fun game, and I'm excited for it because just like CD Projekt Red, they'll just make the game amazing once it's all fixed.
Well, you know, patches like
Yeah.
they're
No, like,
notoriously
I
good
could-
at patching stuff. So
I can, and just based on like 2 patches, it's in 4K at like 30 frames or just below it. Like, it looks great. It's just I'm excited for when they actually add more substance to it. Because
yeah, when they patch in
tell
all the
layer of
DLC.
game, there was so much shit that they got rid of.
Yeah.
The
Well,
game
it's
is
just a fit-
incredible once they actually, spice it up. Like,
I mean,
look
you-
at No Man's Sky. I've never played it, but I've heard great things about that game.
Well, but you've played plenty of Witcher games, though, right?
Yeah, I played the second, and I played the third one.
And you know the difference between just base Witcher games and DLC Witcher games? It's pretty
you
night and
have
day.
to. Yeah, and you already know. Think about the capabilities about a year or 2 from now, what a DLC will be for
Oh.
something like Cyberpunk. It's going to be incredible.
Well, and also they're just very good at doing patch
Yeah,
fixes. and
all
all
I'll
that
say
shit.
so far,
Witcher
bugs
1 and
aside-
2 were unusable on release. On PC,
Yeah.
at least.
all I'll say is, so far in Cyberpunk, the story is incredible. It's very good.
I've heard good things, but I've also heard a lot of the side stuff is very, like, hit or miss. Like, it's
The
very
side
missable.
stuff it's okay. It's okay. There's some
Yeah.
good stuff, but no, it's all the main
The
story.
main story I heard is, like,
it's very,
the
very
shit,
good.
Yeah.
Like, all I'll say is the prologue. You're like, holy fuck, that just happened. Is how I'd put it. It's good. It's
Yeah.
solid.
I mean, to be
and-
fair, I love cyberpunk, just genre shit. Like, I'm a big fan of what was the
I mean, when I think
what's the
Cyberpunk,
awesome,
I think Blade Runner, really.
well, I was gonna say Blade Runner, but I was gonna say what's that awesome top-down CRPG is cyberpunk related that I can't remember the name of that I fucking love.
I mean, there is a tabletop Cyberpunk game, which is the game's about.
I mean, it's
Like the
it's
80s and
just
90s.
like that, but it's oh my god, I put hours of it on Steam. I can't remember it. I mean, it's been around since the 90s. It's basically what all this shit is based off of. Somebody, I'm sure, who's listening, I'm sure that like a Chungus or a French Phil might know this shit, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I'm going way too deep down the. I'm gonna start talking about fucking 89 versions of Tetris that were only available in Russia. If we keep going down this fucking hole, Chris, so we should get out of here before we get too deep. But all I will say is I'll be very excited for the card tomorrow, man. This is actually one of the best cards of the year, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have the day off, so it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, hey, who knows? Maybe Chris and I will do something weird tomorrow. Maybe we'll put out some content or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it'll be fun.
I don't know what we'll actually do, but maybe we'll,
Neither do I, but we'll. figure
maybe we'll
something
jump on live for like the main event or something. We'll see.
out. Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, we could do that. It'd be really easy. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Well, anyway, everybody.
Like Rain over here, who's a sleepyhead. I am also a sleepy dog.
Oh,
as
you
well,
and I
so-
both, and I'm sure girlfriend Karen is fucking tired of my bullshit since she has work in about 6 hours, I think. So
Oh,
she's
Jesus.
she's
Yeah.
she's probably not a big
Well,
fan right now.
Enjoy
so on
the
that
rest.
note,
Enjoy the rest of your food or whatever you got going on. And
that's right. Hey, shouts out to the taco stand in La Jolla. If you guys are ever in California or specifically San Diego, I recommend going to the taco stand in La Jolla. Number one, it's right by the beach. It's literally across the street from the Comedy Store. Although
Yep.
if you do go there, I also recommend going to Don Carlos Tacos and getting a California burrito just to round out the experience. Because really, you can't do one without the other and really call it a California experience in La Jolla. So, do those two, go down by Seal Beach and decide it smells terrible and leave. And that's a real ass La Jolla experience right there, right, Chris?
And make sure to clap at the seals, because I remember when I was in
Oh,
high
they
school,
love that. They love that.
I remember some lady yelled at me. She's like, "Stop clapping! You're hurting the babies." And I was just like, "Shut the fuck up, bitch!" Like what? Like this is just some shithead kid. Like no, and I didn't. What do? You clap louder. It's like come on.
Yeah. And also, they smell worse than whatever clapping you could ever do to them. So.
Yeah, no, I don't even think they can hear the clapping.
Oh,
So
I don't think seals have ears. How about that?
yeah, I think that's real. I don't think they can hear.
I'll tell you what, that lady heard too well.
Why do you think they get eaten by sharks all the time? They can't hear. Just...
Yeah, sharks are notoriously loud as fuck. Good point, bro.
I mean, remember, sharks listen to death metal. It's a fact.
Nah, I mean, yeah, big facts. All right, on that note, everybody, go do something negative. We out. Enjoy the card, and let us know your MMA podcasts we should listen to. Till then, go do something negative. We out late.
Liked by the sound of violence.
So the primary topic of this one, the main event tomorrow, we're going to be putting this up like pretty much as soon as it records. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Geoff Neal. Welterweight fight, I guess it's to be a contender. Wonderboy's in like a weird spot where he's quietly lost a lot of his recent fights. That it's quiet because no one cares. And Geoff Neal is a pretty stock welterweight prospect who hasn't died in the meat grinder. So we're going to start with Vic, since we brought him on for a reason. Vic, what are your thoughts starting out on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his skill set, where he stands in the division?
This is why I'm glad to be here. What you guys like, you really don't give a fuck, and I love it.
Are you excited about it